and these seismic shifts that are necessary are not going to come about spontaneously, that we have to make it happen. We have to be the people that force that change to happen, and lean into those small victories. Little by little, we can expand on that, and at least that's how I try to maintain revolutionary optimism and not succumb to nihilism. Quick.
Get him good.
Boom, flipped it. What's up, everybody? We're on our way to University of San Francisco Law School right now, where I'll be having a talk with the students. The next generation of lawyers, public defenders, attorneys, defense attorneys, and maybe even the next Pam Bondi, Attorney General. I don't know what we're going to be talking about. They did not ask me to prepare a speech. I did not prepare a speech. I'm unprepared. I'm unprepared for what's to come. Now, just like with Stanford, there was some friction with the University of San Francisco Law School. Last year, they asked me to do this, and I don't remember exactly what was taking place, but when they first asked me to do this, they actually canceled the school. There was some controversy, and the school was like, "Oh yeah, we're a little bit worried about getting pressure from the admin," something along those lines. I'll investigate it a little bit further. I didn't actually talk about what took place in Stanford either, by the way. I think I didn't give you guys the full details, but like the actual auditorium hall that we were supposed to do this original Stanford talk in was massive. 1,700 people. It's a full theater, right? It's going to be awesome. And the students actually like put together the funds to be able to do it. They put the upfront cost down, and the school still ended up randomly canceling. First, they thought they wouldn't be able to get the money together, and when they did, the school upped the price again. And when they got that together too, they were like, "All right, we're still going to cancel it and put you in a much smaller room." They did that with University of San Francisco Law School. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. They didn't ask me to prepare a speech. They didn't tell me that there would be a speech at all. I think it's just going to be more so a discussion. So, very excited. Very interested to find out what it's going to look like. Have no idea. Maybe it'll be a tiny classroom. Maybe it'll be an auditorium. It'll be a hall. But I don't know. They're going to arrest you surprise. They're going to debate you. That's what I think. They're lawyers. And as you know, being a lawyer means you're a debate pervert. So it wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to debate me. Pam Bondi got fired, you don't know? Well, yeah, I do know. That's my goal, is to find who the next Pam Bondi is. In these young, strapping new minds in the pursuit of their Juris Doctorate. Okay? Ambush with a debate. This is going to be so good. Why are you making me scared, Law? Why are you scared? I'm a lawyer and I hate debate lords? Buddy, you're a lawyer.
You are the debate lord.
Exactly. Thank you. You have a bunch of lawyer jokes to fire off? What's the difference between a lawyer and a... Stuffs you after you're dead. Zing. Had that off the top dome.
That was good.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Nobody likes their lawyer, not even their mom. Debate them on Pam Bondi. Tell them to defend Pam Bondi as new up-and-coming lawyers. Bazinga. There's always going to be a speech portion when you're invited to these schools. Always. Okay, but they didn't say that. There is no speech portion. Okay? From what I understand. It literally just says, speaking event starts, introductions, and then panel questions 5 minutes after the introductions. So there's going to be panel questions, and the event is, the panel questions are at 5:45 is when it starts, and the end of the event is at 7:30.
That's how long yesterday was.
But that's like all just questions, question after question. They're just gonna grill me.
Yeah, they're gonna debate.
Yeah, they're gonna cook me, dude. I'm sitting on the stand basically for these guys.
About time.
I don't even know if there's anyone in the chat that's participating in this event. I genuinely have no idea. I didn't even know that there was a University of San Francisco nor a law school. We might be just walking into a trap, dude.
What are we doing?
I'm gonna plead the fifth the entire time. Anytime someone asks me, I'm gonna say, I'm pleading the fifth. I'm gonna say I have a right to an attorney, and I don't have the finances to get one myself. It's a mock trial, the trial of Dr. Jihad. Plead the second, that'll scare him. I don't think I'm pleading my Second Amendment rights to bear arms. You must now give me a weapon for trial by combat. It used to be called the UC Hastings Law School. UC Law San Francisco and USF Law School.
Just hit him with the trial by 7.
What do you call a doctor who's in the bottom half of his graduating class? A doctor. What do you call a lawyer who's in the bottom half of his graduating class? Senator. It's a good one. I like that one, Chatter. I'm putting that in the Mind Palace. Declare prima nocta. You were in Bray's Liz and Young Chomsky's old stomping grounds. Should have asked them for pointers. Hasan, all this talking at universities is okay and all, but if you really want to change the game, you got to go to the frats and start mogging them. You're right. You're right. As a 34-year-old man, I should definitely go to the frat houses and be like, "What's up? Show me your most alpha dog, and we're gonna go keg stand for keg stand." See, I might be even dating myself. Do the youngsters still do keg stands? Is that even a thing that people do?
I don't think so.
You don't know either. You're 30.
I don't know either, but I
and you also were
feel like
not
I
even
haven't heard
fratty.
I was not. I feel like I haven't heard about keg stands.
Yeah, you were emo, you were seen.
I didn't go to college.
Okay, well, exactly. My point still stands.
What are they lining up for?
I don't know.
What is it?
Oh, it's Malbon. It's the golf streetwear versus golf brand. They couldn't lift you up with their bitch ass soft hands. Yeah, dude. No, alcohol is gay. Wait, what do they do? What do the youngsters do?
New gen's like anti, like.
They don't like alcohol. They don't like sex.
Yeah.
What do the younger generations do now?
Bone smash.
Yeah, that's
peptides.
true. That's true. They do peptides and bone smashing. We can do a peptide challenge. Who can shove
Spring
as many?
break peptide challenge.
Yeah, who can shove as many peptides in their body? They watch Twitch. Be cringe. Fortnite. Vote Republican. Vape in situationships. Adderall and peptides.
Oh man.
Half of Gen Z can't even drink it? Wait, yes they can, isn't Gen Z like 30 now? Aren't you Gen Z?
No, I'm millennial.
What's Gen Z?
96 is the cutoff for millennial.
Oh, they're 27.
Yeah.
What's the youngest Gen Z then?
I have no idea.
Start out your talk by asserting that judicial review is colonial fanfic and not real. Okay. I'm going to do my bit on constitutional law is also a joke. And that any sort of conservative interpretation of constitutional law is pure reactionary nonsense with a intellectual varnish. Start every speech by stating you aren't anti-Semitic. Gen Z, 1997, 2013, aka Generation Forever War Fa. Hasan, please clap my cheeks like you did last night. I will never be the same. You got that communism deep. The dextrometorphan.
The thing, like, you don't have to read these.
Sometimes it's best not to. You're right. You're right. You freaking right, fam. You're freaking right. Oh my god. Hasan, I want to take you to... Dude, San Francisco HasanAbi heads are a different breed. Like, normally, whenever I go somewhere, there's a couple people that'll be like, oh, hey, you should try this spot. This is my neighborhood. You should try that spot. San Francisco HasanAbi heads are literally all like, come to my house. We're doing a peptide rave. Like, come to my house. We're doing a polycule session.
Who sent you that?
I don't know. There's just like hella people that just keep trying to get me to go to their house. I'm not going to do that.
You could forward those my way.
Also, how do you even have a house? I thought this was NIMBY town. I need to understand why this is the NIMBY YIMBY divide in this city is genuinely insane. I mean, Professor Jiang was wrong about saying Iran is going to create Pax Islamica. But he would be even more wrong if he ever were to say that the NIMBY YIMBY divide will be solved in San Francisco. I'm Steph Curry. Come to my house. Sick. Steph Curry's a fan. He's a NIMBY. Is bro trying to say hippy dippy? No. Yimby versus NIMBY. Steph Curry is BDS. Guy who's a Golden State Warriors fan. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm a principled advocate for Palestinian emancipation. I will no longer be clapping when Steph Curry takes a 3-point shot. He is now BDS. I mean, Draymond is also BDS. Golden State is the most BDS team of all time. Come on, I will give you a free session. You need to be analyzed. Why did you write it like analyzed?
That's how it's spelled.
No, it just felt weird the way they wrote it. Hold on. How can I don't know what is showing on my reflection here.
There's no reflection right now.
There was a reflection earlier.
There is a little bit now.
Oh, we're about to we're about to be there.
Yeah.
God damn.
We need to go to the ground floor.
Okay. Someone gonna pick us up?
Yeah, someone's gonna meet us at the ground floor of wherever this address is. Oh, I should probably text them. Whoops.
Yeah. Whoopsie daisy. Kamala got her Juris Doctorate from where you're going, by the way? Wait, what? Is that a lie or is that real? You are at USF Law, a private Catholic university?
Wait, what?
Wait, Hastings? Yeah, that's what it was. No, it is true. Is this a K-Hive ambush?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna get stabbed by that guy, Too Raw or whatever. Whatever his name is. Too Raw to Life or what was his name?
I don't know.
That one K-Hive stand.
Okay, well, there's supposed to be a parking garage or...
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on. 1 second. Yeah, it's where is it? I can't. Where didn't she send us the map or something?
You know...
Am I in? I thought she did.
You want to go that side?
Oh, it's wait, hold on. It's
Let me make sure we got the right address here.
I think it is. Yeah, I mean this is law school. I think this is it. Yeah.
Oh.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
I'm just gonna hide for now.
Ugh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. Someone's calling for us.
What is that? Are those the people? Or are they just fans? I can't tell. Oh, you want a photo? Yeah, sure. Quick. Oh, we have to go that way? Oh, this is... Oh,
Oh, I see.
all right.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, that was helpful.
Wait, watch out.
Oh, don't die to public transit.
Yeah, that would... What a way to go out.
Oh my god, hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry, that was we were kind of too loud. But so we're representatives from the undergrad school of politics.
Uh-huh.
And then we'd love to have you sometime if that would be at all possible. But,
Sure.
like, we're really big fans. Sorry. I've been like watching your stream for like about a year.
All right,
you're
quick.
like-
We got to take a photo
Oh
now.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Do you
'cause
wanna take a
I'm
selfie?
late.
Do you want to take a selfie or can we take a stream thing?
Hi.
Okay, let's just do a selfie. What's
yeah,
up?
I'm not trying.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
we're
okay,
getting...
wait.
All right, we
Alright.
got to...
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Do you guys know where the parking garage is for this place?
No, my left.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Sorry, can I get a photo?
Sure. What's up, man? Nice to meet you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Well, this is the law school,
Okay.
but I don't know where the parking garage is.
First floor parking garage? I don't know either.
I mean, we went to the address they gave. Oh, I see the map now. Yeah, it's up that street.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
well, this is
fine.
gonna be a little interesting.
What's up, man?
Hasan.
What's up, dude?
How's it going?
What's going on?
San Francisco.
Nice to meet you.
2020.
Hell yeah.
Can I get a
Sure.
selfie?
Yeah. Well, you got to keep walking with us because we're...
Actually, I
We're
had no
late.
idea you were going to be here. But thanks, my man.
Nice to meet you, man. Whoa. Hi. Sure.
Son. Over this way.
All right, nice to meet you. Oh, it's that way?
Yep. I mean, if
That's where you're going.
Oh.
we're going to the parking garage.
Oh, parking garage? Downstairs right here.
Okay.
All right,
let's do
thank
that.
you. I think they told us parking garage so it's like easier to
Yeah.
enter without disrupting.
Yeah. Which is why I was trying to go the long way around.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, it's too late now. Okay.
like a clear entrance.
Where is it? Where are they gonna pick us up from?
It was supposed to be that way, but. Hi.
Hi. You guys know where you're going?
Yeah, we're trying to get to the first floor parking garage entrance.
This is the first parking garage.
The entrance of it.
Yeah. So you're just trying to go through the back, or what you?
We're meeting somebody who's picking us up at the entrance. They're gonna escort us in.
In this court, I could
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
I'm not
that'd be
sure.
great.
That'd be good. I think they were expecting you guys to park in here.
Yeah, we did not do that.
I'm not sure. So I think that's what it was. So the elevator takes you to the other floor. I don't know where you guys are supposed to be going. I know what room you're supposed to be in,
Do you have?
but you don't want to walk in through the front, or you're supposed to be waiting meanwhile.
Do you have the
We'll meet
contact of
you
the
at the
people?
lower level. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Why don't you text them?
Go to the first floor parking garage. That's what we.
Okay. So we're at the
There's someone
first floor.
outside the garage right now, but I'm running up in a black suit. Okay.
Okay, someone's coming here, I guess.
No.
Already here, we're on the first floor parking garage. Someone gonna start.
Oh, hi.
Sorry, everybody's below us. Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hasan.
Hasan, nice
Nice
to meet you.
you.
All
Hi.
right, hi, I'm Hannah.
March, nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you, March.
This is my dad.
Hi, nice to meet you, Dad. Okay, so everyone is downstairs. If you don't mind, we're just going to go on a little adventure.
Okay.
Meet everyone, and then we'll take you to a green room.
All right, perfect.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
We're doing good. Really happy to have you. Excited. Oh. Did they all go up already?
Yeah, we would have never found this.
Yeah, no shot.
That's crazy. Excuse me, can you tap us into this? Oh,
Perfect.
give us some text. You know how it is.
Also, chat was very specifically instructed not to show anybody's faces except for two specific people. So if you get some weird camera angles, it's because I'm
Okay.
being hyper conscious of people's privacy. Oh no, you're good.
Kimia and Zaki are gonna just come down here and get to know you, the ones who are doing questions, and we should get started pretty soon.
All right, perfect. How big is the room? Like, how? I have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah. So it's a good sized room. It fits about 50, 60 people. It's just a couple floors upstairs. So when we're ready to go, we'll just walk you down this way, take you to an elevator. The elevator's right outside the terrace room.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'll
And it's
send-
just like a panel. Like people are gonna ask me questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some moderated questions that Kimia and Zaki will ask you, and then we'll open it up to the students.
Okay.
Great.
All
Thanks
right.
so much.
Perfect.
All right, is there anything you might need?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank
and
you.
Bathrooms are just right here on your right if you need.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
This is crazy.
Yeah, a little bit.
This
I'm
is-
actually gonna attach the tripod right now while we're talking.
Okay.
Okay. Chad, please hold.
Is this like a rider thing? Do I even have a rider? Why is there always coffee?
Because they always ask us what kind of coffee you like, and we tell them cold brew.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Nice.
So many conversations happen around you, son, that you're unaware of.
I didn't. Am I a diva?
No, actually, your rider's pretty easy. I'd say it's literally just cold brew.
I don't even care if they have anything waiting for me when I do this stuff. Oop. Uh-oh. Where'd it go? Shit.
You drop it.
I did, but I don't know where it went. because it's not on the ground.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Kimia. So
Hasan.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry I was running for you both down
Oh, you're good.
Hi,
I'm March.
Kimia.
Nice to meet you.
Alyosha, nice to meet you.
Either way.
Okay.
March is fine.
Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Kimia. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Thank you
Alyosha.
so much
March,
for
pleasure.
coming. Sorry I was
Alyosha,
running.
nice to meet you.
Sorry for making you run.
No worries, I could use the exercise. Hey, Luis, yeah, you're good to let me. Yes, I can.
How's the trip here?
It was pretty easy.
Wait,
We were
oh,
just
wait,
in
wait, wait.
Stanford,
Nice.
so I mean, we just came from Palo Alto.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
You want to take a seat while I go check where I can post up?
Sure. We can leave our stuff here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep that for now.
All right. Perfect.
Would one of you guys be able to show me where I can put the tripod and camera so I can see
All the
the
way
space?
upstairs.
Yeah, just so I can see the space at a time.
Okay.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
I'm Zachy. I'm gonna be on the panel with you.
Nice to meet you.
Questions. Nice to meet you too. Hi, how are you? I'm Zachy. Mehmet? Yeah. Salam alaikum. Nice to meet you guys. His father, that's awesome. Do you live in the area?
He lives in Turkey, but he's visiting right now, and he wants to. He loves coming to
Nice,
the
nice.
college events that I do.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
we got a front row seat reserved for him. Thank you for being here, sir.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of these college events?
Yeah, I mean, I do them with regular frequency.
Nice, man.
I didn't used to, but I started doing more of them recently because I feel like it's good. It's good to get a better feel for where the youth is at now that I'm an old man
Fair
at the
enough,
age
man.
of 34.
Yeah.
We're live right now, by the way.
Thank
just
you
so
for
you know.
letting me know.
Yeah.
I was warned by someone else, otherwise I would have been really taken aback.
Yeah, no, we're
Thanks for the warning, Hasan.
yeah, we're always live.
Yeah, man. How many hours a day are you live?
Usually like 8.
Okay.
That's not too bad. That's like a full-time job.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
It is your full-time job.
It is my full-time job. Yeah.
That's good.
Usually like 8.
All right.
There you go. It's right on.
Confirmed. That's
Right
pretty
on
live.
cue.
It's like right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've been live for 6 hours already. I did like my news coverage. It's usually how we do it. So I'll do my regular news coverage, and then we'll go to if there's like a college campus or something that I'm attending, we'll just live stream the whole thing.
Nice, man. From the time you enter the campus to the time you leave,
Yeah,
the viewers see everything.
yeah,
Interesting. I didn't know that was how it worked.
yeah.
Did I sweat
Well,
out my
man.
powder?
What do you say?
I said I sweat out my powder.
No, it's there.
Okay, cool.
It's attached.
You know, a little bit of exercise only means my makeup's gone.
No, it's still.
No, you're good.
You look.
You're
wonderful.
good.
You look wonderful.
Alright, cool.
Thanks for wearing the Free Palestine bracelet, man.
Yeah.
Oh, of
that's
course.
awesome.
So, is it true that Kamala Harris graduated from this law school?
No, that's
No.
UC Law, or it used to be called UC Hastings, but
Uh-huh.
they named it because he was apparently some white supremacist.
Ah,
So, like, why name it that in the first place, you know?
yeah.
Neighbor law school.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to. I feel like in America, a lot of the college campuses are
yeah.
named after white supremacists.
Very true.
That's true.
Okay, so this is not.
Our
Do you
most
want to
famous
open or-
alumni.
I don't care.
Really, 'cause-
Who's your most famous alumni?
It's Kimberly Guilfoyle, Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife.
Nice,
That's our
Serious?
biggest claim to fame.
nice.
No, no,
Also,
no.
Gavin Newsom's ex.
That's
Also,
what I was,
Newsom's
I
ex,
was
dude.
just gonna say
Yeah.
that.
Picture of them on the rug, you know that?
Yeah, yeah, of
That
course.
I love that thing.
That's dope.
It's my screensaver.
That's your most famous alumni.
We have,
God
Pure
damn.
fame, yes.
I think a lot
We
of
have
our
others to be a
alumni are
little more
like
proud of.
judges in California, and they're pretty prominent in the Bay Area. There's a lot of
That's
judges,
true.
though. It's
They
pretty crazy. There's like a wall of judges.
We got a lot of judges. They're not known,
Did you
but
say
yes.
to not let them
Not let people.
Okay, because he started, but I told him to stop.
Okay.
So
Are
I'm just
there
gonna
already
be
people
there.
in there?
Maybe like 3 or 4.
Okay, it's because they still need to set up the tech. Do you need me up there?
Nope, I just wanted to
Oh,
ask.
they can be in there when we set up the tag. It's not a problem. If you're concerned for us,
Yeah.
we're
I'd
pretty
like to see-
fast. We can just
Yeah.
I mean, we normally do this stuff in like protests and stuff, so it's not. This is a much easier process.
Okay, awesome.
man.
So I'll give them the green one.
Did you tell March about the thing with the mics for the Q&A? Okay.
I will do that right now.
Okay. Do you want me to do?
Nope, I got it.
Okay. Should we put it out there? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Say what up to my family in case they're tuned in.
But just hold
Do they? I don't. Do they watch?
It's a shot in the dark, man. Probably not.
Yeah.
keep the
Can't
doors
hurt to try though.
Can you go as close?
True.
for upstairs.
I think if the tech is
You always
good,
have a
if
big
someone
like
asks them
police
about the
presence when you go to schools.
what's the
No.
situation?
Really?
Not always.
Okay.
There is a big police presence in this one.
Presence here, man. They brought everybody out.
Yeah. What's going on
I
with
think they're
that?
really concerned about you.
Uh-huh.
Anything
Uh.
to jump through fucking hoops and hoops and
Yes.
Yeah. Well.
They made them do a lot of
Yeah.
make a lot of
Stanford.
concessions to be able to
Stanford. We had a 1,700 person like auditorium, sold out in like a minute,
Yeah.
and then out of nowhere the school refunded everybody's tickets, and people were like paying for it too. Like non-students were paying for tickets. School refunds it, puts us in a 350 person mess hall, like last second, 3 or 4 days before the event. I think they were just trying to get me to pull out, but I was like, no, I'm gonna still do it. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we're
man.
hella limited, but thank you for being here, working within our parameters. We really appreciate it.
It's all good.
You
Working
know,
with our cops. I don't know if we have enough though. I'm gonna see if we can get some extra.
Yeah,
ones.
why is there so many cops? What's going on?
Dude, they just freak out.
Yeah.
They really.
What, do I got a hit out on me or something? I
think
didn't.
it's,
Something I don't know about?
I think it's the post-Kirk America. I think that. this
I've
is-
done some college campuses
Since
post
then,
Kirk
yeah.
though.
And you haven't seen
I
this
think-
level?
Have I? Have I done college camp? I mean, I just did Stanford. There weren't any cops at all.
We're also
So.
a small Catholic Jesuit university.
Uh-huh.
So they're probably a little bit more buttoned up too than like a bigger campus that has more going on. And
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you feeling good? Are we gonna be good for a 5:30 start?
Don't ask me. I'm ready to go whenever.
Ready? Okay, man. Sounds good.
I'm
We'll pull
I'm
you
ready
out
to
tomorrow.
I'm ready to rip
I
it.
think we'll be good.
Sounds good, dude.
Yeah. Did you go over some of that?
Good.
Okay. We're just going in blind.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
That's, I mean, you take a lot of audience questions, like unvetted, just people coming up and
Yeah.
throwing their stuff out there.
Yeah.
Perfect. We want most of the time to be that. Give folks
Yeah,
a
yeah.
chance to
Who
speak
does
their
stuff like
minds.
this normally? Like, what's the last speaker that you guys had?
I'm gonna be
question
so
for
real
Kimia.
with you. Usually main campus has like a whole fund and they like have like speakers.
Yeah.
Like we did this fully like as students. Like I've spent
Mm.
almost a year like
Yeah.
going.
No, I
through
know. I
the
was supposed to do
students.
this last year, right? And then I don't
Yeah,
remember
the,
what.
The timing got all like messed up, and
Let's just
depending
say
like
our administration's hoops were ridiculous.
They're listening in, so
So we're
speak
very
your mind
happy to have
freely.
you. No, I was like,
Administration coming to you live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're listening.
We have some qualms.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. I actually got pulled into this 2 days ago. To be honest with you.
that's not true. We told you a while ago.
You told me a while ago that it might happen at some point, and then 2 days ago they're like, "Hey, can you write some questions and come and participate?" I was like, "Sounds good." So here we are.
Okay. Okay.
Alright.
Did you get a chance to look at our questions? It's okay if not.
No. Did we get the questions? I don't
Yeah,
think
I
so.
sent them on. I mean, I know you haven't been on that email, but I sent them over to.
Oh yeah. No, I did. I did see these. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really excited. I think we got some good stuff.
Yeah, there's some great stuff in there. But I thought it was like you guys have like moderated questions that you.
We have
Um,
that for the first half, and then
and
the
the
second
second
half.
half
And then
is
that- yeah.
Unmoderated.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
don't have any concept of what students are doing.
Yeah.
We're
The
just
restrictions are crazy, by the way. With the you can't even show a single student's face or something. That's what you guys were saying.
Yeah, dude.
Is it the school? Is that what it is?
like we've had to.
Like I said, we don't know what I've done.
She's been through a lot.
I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
God bless her.
I will make sure that we just
Yeah.
keep it on the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you. Well, as long as we do that, we're fine.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
It'll be good. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't because like normally when we do stuff like this, it's usually either like a professor that schedules it.
Yeah.
So I think the school is like a lot
You know?
more
Yeah.
like resistant to outside pressure.
Yeah.
Because like the first one of these I did was at USC, and that was like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. And it was a professor that was a fan that wanted me to do this like big auditorium,
That's awesome.
and there were a lot of Zionist groups that sent like they tried to do a public pressure campaign. I mean, this is also before I would say that like the overwhelming majority of the American population were like super pro-Palestine.
No,
So at that point, it was like that was probably the maximum pressure with like minimum amount of like pushback.
Yeah.
But even then, it was fine. And then I've done a bunch of these, but usually in my experience, at least now I'm beginning to find out, like if it's a student group that's like putting it together,
Yeah.
they have to jump through a lot more hoops than like if it's a dean or something.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think so.
To say the least.
That
Yeah,
was the
there was-
experience here.
I don't think we've ever had, like, our main campus university got involved and put the restrictions on us. It was in
Oh.
law school.
Oh,
You wanna
That's-
sit back, Ryan? You wanna sit-
I'm good, man. What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
What are they? Are they reading Jewish Insider? Is that what it is? They think I'm a dangerous. Huh.
That's probably part of it.
That's so funny. I get New York Times puff pieces. What are they worried about?
I think maybe if you weren't streaming, I would spill out a tea, but I'm the one whose ass is on the line.
Okay, don't worry. I'm not gonna fuck it up for you.
Don't thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I didn't think you would, but
Yeah, no.
trust me.
I'm here for the students.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What time exactly do you want him in the chair? Just so I can get like a 2-minute warning and then go set up.
Okay, so what I think we're gonna do is, our plan was to have each of us have the speaker bio, and Hannah was gonna introduce us, we all walk out one by one, but if you wanna go up there before that,
Mm-hmm.
then I think,
It's probably best, yeah. Like
I
right
could
before that.
walk you
Yeah.
up there right now and we can set
I
it
think
up.
maybe,
Well,
maybe-
because it's live, we just want to like minimize the downtime where
I
it's just the
gotcha.
camera pointing at nothing, basically.
Okay.
yeah, I
So-
think what would be
Mhm.
best is, we're letting in students until 5:35, we're gonna start the program at 5:40.
Okay.
We'll all go up, there's like a little kitchen that's connected to the room,
I was
so
just
it'll
there.
be separate, okay, perfect, so you know.
Okay.
It'll be separated, so we can all be in there. While you set up what you need to set up, just tell Hannah that I told you that when you're good, she's good.
Okay, perfect. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So, time. Is there a restaurant user?
Yeah, right here. Okay.
I totally should have brought my makeup in here. I totally
You
fucked that.
look
You're
great.
good.
You know what? I really appreciate both of you saying this to me. But
Yeah.
we're both men, and so inherently, I'm not sure if I can trust it.
Okay. You can get to take it 30,000 people if you want to pop in here and see what chat
I
says.
think I'll just wait till we're
Okay. Okay. All right.
Is it 30,000 right now?
I think so. Yeah. Usually around this time of the day, it starts. People start leaving because it's like later,
Mm-hmm.
or if I'm not sitting at a desk yelling at my computer.
Well, my dad's gonna tune in, so that's exciting.
Okay, that's cool. Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah. Asadola's gonna log on to his work computer.
I feel like more people would tune into the stream like when they're getting off of work though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
No.
No? Like everyone's just on the stream
No,
during
these
work.
are jobless communists.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, the younger audience are like, no, unemployed audience.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people at this point are employed. They just watch at work
Yeah. Maybe have it on.
and then put it in one ear.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Ready to go right on time.
They're all saying caught. Jobless communist caught. Yeah.
I'm like, shout out to jobless communists.
Spiritually unemployed.
Because it sounds like
Physically
almost
at
everybody's
work.
in the room. So
Oh.
we're
Okay.
Okay.
we're on time. We might even
when
be able
we're
to start
at-
a little early.
Let me double check. Hold on.
Oh, Hannah just called. Hold up.
Okay. Can you ask her what the capacity is at?
Yes.
She's on the phone with them too right now.
I'm trying to give the people who aren't speaking enough time before we start running your
Because
meeting.
people were like asking me how to attend this event. Like a lot of people, and it felt like it was.
It was only open to students.
Yeah.
No reason 5:35 won't work for us to go up. They're asking.
We are going up at 5:35.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
I'm getting head honcho right now. It's pretty
Yeah, you are. That is you.
This much is really healing me right now. It's the temperature control that I need.
It's that, the caffeine mints.
Just trying to minimize
It's all
the
Don't
coagulating
downtime.
right now.
expose me right now.
So he's gonna go up first. We
Okay.
were saying.
Have you ever
what
seen these?
Kimia, did we say 5:35?
minutes.
He goes up, and then we're following like 2
no.
minutes after.
Well, I was gonna
Okay.
say, how about let's just wait till the line clears before.
Yeah, well, so that's what I was saying. 5:35 is when we're going to stop letting the RSVP people in,
Okay.
and then the waitlist people can come in.
Okay.
And then at 5:35 is approximately when we can go up, because at 5:40 we can still start the program like we planned.
Mhm.
But he needs a couple minutes before you start to set up his stuff. So that's
Mhm.
why I told him.
Yeah, I can set up the camera in 2
Yeah, yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. And did people upstairs know about the 5:35 RSVP change? to
I did
waitlist?
text them.
Okay, great.
Should we just cruise on up?
We
No.
have the line.
It is 5:24.
Your name.
We can't start early.
Alright,
Yeah.
11 minutes.
We can't start early?
I was like, why not?
Man.
We can, but
All right.
So why not?
If it's
If
full,
if the room's full,
Let
right?
me just go see
Ask
if the
them,
line's
ask them where the capacity is at. If the capacity is 50, we can start early. If it's not, I don't want to take away the opportunity for students to be able to
Yes,
come in.
chat. I'm arrested.
You do look like you're arrested.
I'm being interrogated.
I'm gonna call you.
Oh
so
my
make
god,
sure
it does
Yeah,
look like
got it.
that.
Yeah,
It does
JCS.
look like that,
JCS. I'm arrested.
We should get one of these cops in here on camera.
Yeah.
So,
what's it like having to like talk to people while also like monitoring the chat and communicating with the chat? You
It's
just gotta
fine.
get used to it.
Yeah. I mean, I also don't really look at it that much normally, but there's not really, we're just chilling in here. That's why I'm looking at it. But they are usually the first to be like, stop looking at your phone.
Okay.
Like, they'll get annoyed if I'm doing an IRL stream outside and I'm looking at my phone. They'll be like, why are you looking at your phone? It's like, to see what you're saying,
Yeah.
you know?
what a crazy concept.
No, I know. Like, and it's like a pretty like new thing too. What, like a few years old that people started doing like IRL streams, right?
Yeah, I mean, people have been doing it, but it definitely became like way more popular and like since post-pandemic, I would say.
Well, we're gonna talk about that up there for sure.
Yeah.
Afterwards, do you guys want to come back here to just regroup for a second? Just so you can plan with pub safety.
I just want to make sure. I know that he has a commitment at a.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're gonna leave our stuff in this room.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have to come here anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then we'll probably just go right out.
Okay.
Do you have an Uber or do you have a driver?
No, I don't have a driver. Y'all think I'm like a normal person?
We weren't told.
No, I will call
I
it
thought
Uber.
it was an Uber, but I just want to make sure.
I'll call it
because
Uber.
Then we can
We
just
haven't
give you
met a lot of
the
people.
information.
Yeah.
We're kinda, we stay inside.
I don't know what type of time you're on.
No, that's crazy.
You hang can we save it? You're meeting up with a particular political candidate later?
Yeah, of
Nice,
course.
dude. You can't, yeah, no, okay, great. He's an interesting guy, man.
I like him a lot.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Good relationship with him.
Yeah.
Nice dude.
I've known of him for many years.
Okay.
I also had my suspicions initially because, tech guy, very rich.
Yeah, that was what I was
And I was like, what's his deal? And a lot of people that I do respect vouch for him, that know him very well, including Ryan Grimm, who is he's an investigative reporter. He used to work at the Intercept. Now he works at Drop Site. He was with me in the Cuba trip too, but he wrote about him extensively on the book We've Got People, because he tracked the rise of the squad basically and like the populist left the first time around, and Shoykot played a formative role in the AOC campaign. He was the AOC's chief of staff.
He's running on that, yes.
Yeah. Oh, he's putting that out
Putting
there.
that out there big time.
I
That's the
think,
main
like,
thing.
yeah.
That and Bernie.
I think he also
He's
put
trying
out
to
like
line
the
himself
day
very
Zohan
closely
was
with them.
elected. He said like, I'm this race is Zohan, and it was right before
He said,
Pelosi.
I'm the same race as Zohan?
No,
Yeah.
that isn't. Did I say
That's what I
that?
thought you said. I'm sorry.
I
Yeah.
said, I'm this racist. So
Oh, this
He's
race
a-
is okay.
The thing is, he's a
election.
really good national candidate. Like, he has incredible policies. If you look at his like policy papers, he's a think tank, because he's been doing this for a lot longer than he's like been running, right? And him and another guy were the architects of the Green New Deal. So like they're policy wonks, but in a good way, not in like a annoying, neoliberal way.
Yeah.
But he's a really good national candidate, but he has, I feel like a lot of people in San Francisco are not trusting of him, especially the left.
Big time.
Yeah, and they think...
He's winning people over, though.
Yeah.
He's winning people over slowly but surely.
Yeah.
But yeah, the concerns I think are really valid, and he's going to have to fight to change those minds.
I think the concerns I had was like what you had brought up initially, the fact that he had like this big tech background. Like out here, obviously, that has a certain connotation.
Oh, no, I know.
And so I felt pretty indecisive because at first I really liked him, and then when I started looking into it, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's like $100 millionaire, right? But I think it's because he was a...
Because I've been getting those.
Damn, you know the exact number. I don't even... What?
I've been getting his leaflets at my apartment constantly, and I was like, the last time I got this many leaflets, it was a billionaire.
Tom Steyer?
Daniel Lurch.
Oh.
So,
Yeah,
Tom Steyer, I
Yeah.
keep
Our
getting
mayor in
his
San Francisco's a
ads
billionaire.
when I'm watching Grays.
The Metros there.
Yeah. Yeah,
We got-
he sucks. He's deep.
I know.
Oh,
Dude, the billionaire savior
I was like, who am I
thing has
fucking
been
talking
tried
to?
at so many levels of government, and it has failed.
No, this is-
repeatedly. So
this is different.
I'm more trepidatious than ever before to be
Yeah.
like, yeah, you have a billion or close to $1 billion.
No,
I'm
this
gonna
is
trust
different.
you to be on the side of the people. It's a big hill to climb for you as a candidate.
It's
I
not
don't
like...
think it's a hill I think someone can surmount. I think it's a propaganda piece. Like
Yeah.
Tom
A lot,
Steyer,
yeah.
I don't
Tom
believe
Steyer is another guy. You had obviously Michael Bloomberg. You had, I mean, you have J.B. Pritzker, I guess, is like an analog of success, but
You have a guy named Donald Trump.
Is
I
he a
forget.
billionaire?
No, he definitely is now. But
He
I
is,
always
yeah.
forget that Donald Trump's was a billionaire because he was like kind of fake.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like a real billionaire, I don't think.
I agree.
He definitely is
Cartoon
now.
billionaire.
Yeah,
he
like a
definitely is
Monopoly
now.
billionaire.
Yeah, well.
Literally, it was giving that.
But yeah,
no, big time.
but what I was saying is like he is separate from his, centimillionaire status. He has been doing this work for a very long time. Like he literally was like, he said when they set up the Justice Democrats, he was like, there's this candidate that I really like. Her name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be her chief of staff. I'm gonna leave this job because I think this is gonna be like a pivotal politician that might change American history, right? And I feel like that's it says something because we're looking at AOC now with like today's perspective. It's very different than taking a shot in the dark on a bartender at the time that you think is going to become like a fairly prominent American politician.
What's your stance on AOC now?
I like her. I mean, she's good.
He's interviewed her, exactly.
Yeah.
Alright.
I just
I don't know
think
what that means.
The thing is I wish that our like left flank candidates were a little bit more bold
Yeah.
Yeah,
and unafraid to lead on issues
me
and
both.
and she does actually say the right things at times, and she has outflanked Bernie Sanders quite a bit on numerous occasions, especially the Israel stuff, right? But then when she gets yelled at by the same groups that love yelling at me all the time, I feel like she retreats a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and you can't have that. You just gotta push through it and be like, you gotta be a little bit unapologetic
Yeah.
and a little bit like Donald Trump almost, where you're like, no, this is the right thing. Shut up. It's
Republicans know how to get away with that, but
Yeah.
Democrats can't, man.
Yeah.
Democrats can't, so she has to weigh that
Yeah.
principled approach with how do I stay in office.
no, but that's what I'm
Because
saying. I
too far,
think
she's gonna-
there's an opportunity. We'll see, because No Labels ran an ad after this last like week and a half of like Hasan is a dangerous radical anti-Semite smears that I've been getting, and it's really
It's all
stupid.
true, though, of course.
Of course, obviously. That's why you guys invited me here.
Yeah, man. The questions we showed you are fake.
Yeah,
It's all gonna
it's
be-
all going to be...
We put no thought into that. They were trying to smear you 100%.
No, but like what I was trying to say is, so when that happened, at first I was like, oh, all of the usual suspects that normally would be asked, like, oh, well, you've aligned with this person in the past, like, can you give a negative comment and like disassociate from Hasan? Which under normal circumstances, I think in a different media environment they would do that, but like they asked Bernie's like, no. He's like, no, he's great, he's doing great work. And I think it's because the media environment is very different now. Because like there was so much back and forth about, you know, should Kamala Harris go on Joe Rogan? Is there a Joe Rogan to the left? Like there was so much of that, and in the cycle, in the aftermath, and the fake autopsy that they try to conduct in public, where the deciding factor was Democrats need to be a little bit more bold about like their messaging. That it's too late for, you know, all of these like third way style groups to now try and drive a wedge between people like myself and the candidates that also embody and represent the movement that I represent, which is of course anti-Semitism.
I think you're 100% right. The establishment's pushing back on that so much, right? So it's like, and that's why Kamala lost. All those minutiae decisions of do we go on this podcast,
Yeah.
whether Joe Rogan of the left, where do we align ourselves? What's the right message to say if I go on Subway Takes? What take should I give? Like,
Yeah.
all those little things they fucked up on every single one.
Yeah, but
And the people saw that, and so they see this person who's incredibly fake, and they felt like she was Hillary 2.0, and it was valid. And
Yeah.
it's not gonna work, man.
but also, are we ready to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna have him go up and ring first, and then we'll follow like 2 minutes later.
I was like, I could rap about this for
Well,
hours, but
do
let's go.
you want to
Okay.
keep us in the kitchen area, maybe? Or?
Do you want to walk up while that's on?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We can do that. We can do that too. We'll just take. We'll have them in the kitchen area. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to the kitchen.
How long you been working for this outfit, man?
For this outfit?
Yeah.
What outfit?
Like this operation. He's asking. He's doing lawyer speak.
I like your necklace a lot.
He's doing lawyer speak. You don't have to answer that. You don't
Okay,
have
you're
to-
right.
my
I
client
plead
doesn't
the
have to
fifth,
answer that.
actually.
No,
I am pleading the fifth on that.
A long time.
that's what we
A
were.
long and fruitful relationship.
That's what we're gonna do. If you guys have.
That's your out. This is lawyer speak. If you get a question you don't like.
No. From this at all. You guys. So we were like, is this like, you know, is this gonna be like a trial? It's gonna be like a fucking.
A mock court situation.
Yeah.
After all because I always say lawyers are debate perverts.
Yeah.
And the more.
So I need you guys to go through the front.
Okay.
The kitchen.
He's gonna go through the back.
The kitchen.
It's very scary.
Are we going? I don't
That could
care.
happen.
Take us. Just come
This
right here.
kitchen right here?
Go with Hannah. We'll be inside.
I'm a big boy. We'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Stand to the side. Okay, well, it's not very hidden.
Close that door, whatever you want to do.
What's up?
Just play.
I think you want to wait for that door to close. Okay.
Wait. Alyosha, can you escort this photo to the
I'm going to set up real quick.
Okay, go set up.
Okay. Your mic is hot.
All right, your mic is hot.
I know.
You got one right up there. Are you sure? Okay.
I will go through this way around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going great. You don't have to worry about a thing. You guys are
Okay,
doing a
chat
great
box. I'm
job.
setting up and switching a lens with you, so
You seem very cool, calm, and
bear
collected.
with me, chat.
That's what I've been.
Really used me before.
That's what I've been saying the whole time. I'm like,
When
wow.
they see me talking in chat, they think I'm talking to myself like a fucking crazy person.
Okay.
Will do. Also, you're gonna get flashbanged right now, chat, because I'm switching lenses. Oh god, soap.
Great.
There's a woman in the front row. May or may not.
Okay.
Could happen.
Thank you for the warning. It'll be all right.
She's a sweet young lady, so you're prepared for a treat if it does that.
Okay.
Ready for him.
Sorry, I'm totally in your way, but. Alright, chat, this is the space they gave me. This is the best you're gonna get. But Hasan's gonna be sitting in one of those chairs, so you know.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Excuse me, sir.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Sneaking in behind you. Sorry.
It's very nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Who else wants this one? You want to hand this to somebody?
Yeah, whoever is going to be on stage with me, one of the two people.
You're gonna be sitting right next to each other.
We're gonna put that on the table in between the two of us.
Okay. Is that gonna be okay? If it's
Yeah,
on the table?
yeah, it'll be more than enough.
Zach, you bring it.
Oh, you have the camera.
Just set it down on that table.
That's what I'll do.
Right, Marge? It'll be fine from that distance?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't, like, click on it for now, though, because it's hot.
Okay. Got it.
So they'll hear it
Got it.
if you, like, hit your ring or something.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
and
you, man.
then
No problem.
Appreciate that.
I'll start the introduction remarks. Osha, do you want to maybe stand right here as like I can give you a bat signal? You can open the door.
Yeah.
Very Middle Eastern footwear.
Oh,
I like it.
yeah.
The tassel loafers.
The Baba shoes.
Yeah, the Baba shoes, dude. Exactly.
Yeah, I was telling Zach I was like a Palestinian, Iranian, and I tried to walk into a bar today.
Recipe for
For what?
disaster, possibly.
Oh, disaster?
If history's taught us anything.
I don't know about that.
No, things are fine as long as the Ottomans are reigning. It's good.
I don't think that people.
Y'all might be coming back, dude. The global Muslim rule may be on the rise again soon. Sorry you had
Yeah.
to hear that, officer.
These are
But,
jokes.
you know, yeah, this is gonna be a comedy hour, so we want to warn you about it.
Oh, it's muted.
I'm gonna start by introducing.
So let's do it.
Also, hi, I'm Hannah, because you don't already know me. Danielle here, and just really happy to meet you guys. Again, thank you for coming. So, Zaki Shaheen is a community and political organizer and criminal defense investigator. Before entering the criminal legal system, he spent several years managing progressive political campaigns for almost every elected position in San Francisco, last of which was managing the campaign against the recall of San Francisco's former progressive district attorney in 2022. Zaki is a Palestinian and a socialist. Next up, we have Kimia Hadidi. Kimia is an activist at heart and advocate by trade. As a proud daughter of Iranian immigrants and the first in her family to go to law school, and soon to be first law school graduate, her commitment to principled resistance developed out of her lived experiences. Her original legal research on the human rights implications of AI and technology in Iran is selected for upcoming publication in the USF Law Review Journal. As a 2L, Kimia worked in the International Human Rights Law Clinic, attending the 69th UN Commission on the Status of Women as a student attorney. She is a recipient of the McFettridge Award in Excellence in Child Advocacy and a soon-to-be civil litigator fighting for the rights of plaintiffs. And last, but certainly not least, we
Who
have
could it be?
Hasan Piker. Born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and raised in Istanbul, Turkey, Hasan Piker is an American journalist, producer, activist, and ridiculously entertaining political commentator. His honesty, personality, and deep understanding of the subjects that he covers makes him one of the leading political voices for millennials and Gen Z. An early adopter of the popular gaming and streaming site Twitch, Piker's live streams daily to an average audience of about 30,000 viewers, making him #1 most popular for just chatting and commentary creator on the platform. His content has been featured in the New York Times, GQ, NPR, NBC News, Al Jazeera, CNN, Current Affairs, Mother Jones, Vanity Fair, Newsweek, Vulture, and Wired. Hasan was also named on Rolling Stone's top 25 most influential creators, the Hollywood Reporter's Creator A-List, and Time's 100 Creators. Piker's childhood in an increasingly authoritarian Turkey influences his desire to question authority and argue against an unjust status quo. He began his career as a journalist for the Young Turks, a progressive political news and opinion show, and has proven himself to be a leading figure in political news for the American left. He supported the 2016 and 2020 presidential campaigns of Senator Bernie Sanders, who has since appeared as a guest on his broadcast, and has worked with organizations such as Muslims for Progressive Values, March for Our Lives, and Black Lives Matter. To put Piker's unique standing in American politics and grasp on the zeitgeist,
So close, girl.
in perspective,
Not a real word.
in the run-up to the 2020 general election, he was able to leverage his platform to collaborate with Representatives AOC and Ilhan Omar to get out the vote, playing the multiplayer game Among Us on Twitch to an audience of over 700,000 viewers. And this is exactly the type of political yet accessible and entertaining spectacle that has come to represent Piker's brand.
All right, thank you, Hannah, so much for those wonderful introductions. What up, chat? We're coming to you live from an undisclosed location. We're very, very excited to have world-famous streamer Clavicular here with us today. The security presence, we were talking about this, is really crazy. I think for security reasons, I have to actually say we're not in San Francisco. We're in a remote part of northern Canada.
Yeah.
And they actually did ask me to say that. So I want to just tell you what the format's going to be really quick before we get started. We're going to start with a moderated question and answer portion that is going to consist of questions covering the current state of media and organizing, and of course leftist organizing in the United States, and then discuss American foreign policy and global geopolitics, focusing largely, of course, on Palestine, and Iran as well. And then we want to save at least half of our time, most of our time tonight, for audience question and answer, so that we have so many amazing, very talented, young leftist future lawyers in this room who I know are going to bring the heat when we get to that portion of the evening. So I will hand it to Kimia so that she can give us an advisement and get us started with the question and answer.
Yeah, so I have a disclaimer that the use of university space doesn't imply acceptance or endorsement by the university and or the School of Law of the views expressed by any speaker or attendees. But honestly, it shouldn't either way, because this was fully organized by students and fucking for students. We want to give a big shout out to Hasan and his team. They've been wonderful to work with. Hasan is coming here out of the goodness of his heart and donating his time. All he fucking wanted was an iced coffee. So
that was my team. I didn't even know I had a rider. Now that I know, I'm going to ask for more cruel things.
You know what?
In the future.
Good place to start.
Yeah.
So our first question is related to modern shifts in the media landscape. How do you feel that this has impacted society's information streams? And how do you think that streaming, podcasts, and the like have changed the flow of information? And how do you see your role in light of this?
Okay. So I think it's both really good for obvious self-serving purposes, but also kind of devastating, because we no longer have consensus reality. And I do think that the democratization of media has played a formative role in that. There are a lot of people who have no interest or investment in identifying the truth at all, and in many circumstances lean into biased narratives, biased frameworks, or just outright fabrications, right? And we saw a little taste of that during COVID. A lot of people were engaging in misinformation purely for propaganda purposes or or from a very self-interested perspective to make themselves seem like an independent voice. And I think that there was a fissure in the way that we identify things, the way that we can communicate with one another, in a way that I had never experienced before. And we haven't really truly recovered from that. But it's obviously also good because, let's be real, a lot of legacy publishers are invested in State Department upkeep, right? No matter how independent legacy publishers and mainstream media presents itself as, and every now and then there's brilliant investigative reporting that happens in these outlets, and they play a very important role in general that I will not discount. But when push comes to shove, when there is a certain narrative, especially a narrative around, let's say, a war that the American government is waging for an adversary that we must disparage, a lot of these outlets, almost in unison, lean into specific narratives. We saw this obviously in the aftermath of October 7 with the way that the genocide of the Palestinians was covered, oftentimes directly operating as a stenography department, but also for the Israeli government as well. And because of the democratization of media, because of free-flowing communication, and because of the courage and resilience of the Palestinians, Americans, for the first time ever, were able to learn the truth about an apartheid that at that point had existed for 75 years. And I don't think that would have ever happened. And now we're in 2026, 2.5 years after the fact, and there's been a massive attitude shift. I've been an anti-Zionist for the past 13 years of my professional media career and far longer beyond that, and I never would have thought that there would come a day where it was unconditional, that most people, especially under the age of 35, but the majority of Americans, the majority of Westerners, would recognize the truth about what Israel was doing to the Palestinian population, and would have a negative attitude about Israel and its actions in general. And I think that is a testament to what can happen when there are more media outlets that people are relying on beyond mainstream news resources. So there's the good and the bad. The role I try to play in this is that I'm a bit of a media demon. I love, I read a lot. I rely heavily on legacy publishers. I have a lot of great friends that work in these newsrooms as well. I've met a lot of brilliant investigative reporters throughout my career, and lean heavily into their reporting as well. And I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without them, regardless. Like without these major newspapers, because I don't have millions of dollars and thousands of employees around the world and different bureaus, and I can't send people out to cover certain leads, right? So I lean heavily into that work that they put out there, and try to walk people through the regular experience of consuming American media and Western media while holding their hand and trying to teach them media literacy from a very critical lens. The way I see myself, the way I see what I do is I guess is a complementary relationship with existing publishers. I wouldn't say that about a lot of other independent outlets. Some are great. You have Zeteo, Drop Site News. You have people in the podcasting space, people in the live broadcast space like Majority Report and many others. But there is also obviously a lot of people who just kind of, how do I put this lightly, make shit up.
Yeah.
And just kind of lie or lean into biased narratives and disseminate a lot of misinformation. So a big part of what I do is also try to break down how misinformation spreads as soon as breaking news are unfolding. But I try to make sense of this chaotic media landscape as is how I would describe what I'm doing.
Well said, man. Unbelievably tall undertaking, right? Making sense of this chaotic media landscape, especially in this day and age. I really appreciate that perspective. Weighing the value of legacy media at a time where it's dying in so many ways, and how do you balance that with now all of these new alternate forms of media? And I think Palestine and the coverage of Palestine that you discussed is a great measure for how that landscape has shifted over the last 3 years since October 7th, 2023. And we're going to get into Palestine a lot more, but I have a question on the topic of the shifts that have happened in the media landscape, and how radical the shifts are. It's unbelievable to see legacy media and legacy media mediums entirely just be absolutely gutted. So thinking about streaming, your medium, and how it has blown up in the last few years and become this medium that has forced itself to be taken seriously because it's the number one place that so many people, especially young people, are getting all of their information. And where they're developing the access, exactly, and where they're developing their psychology and their worldview. And so I want to ask you about the nature of the streaming landscape, especially from the perspective of young boys, what some people call the manosphere, right? Why in this space is there such an overrepresentation of conservative voices from the political side, voices that are promoting really alt-right and ultra-conservative politics, but even streamers that are not political, like someone like a Clavicular, who is largely apolitical, but is promoting this incredibly grim and antisocial worldview, and is getting so many thousands of young boys and young men to watch that. Why is the space have this huge content skew? What does that say to you about the culture and about your medium?
I mean, I think that's always existed, because when I first started doing this stuff at the Young Turks, the space was still entirely dominated by right-wing commentary. I remember this was the Gamergate era, like 2013 to 2016, where the overwhelming majority of apolitical commentary content creators were outright white supremacists. Yeah. Like, it was crazy. And there was not a lot of pushback either. There wasn't really a market for any sort of like leftist voices. There was the lone, the Young Turks was there, maybe a couple other outlets, but...
Are you talking about gaming streamers?
Yeah, not just streamers, because this is like when the streaming space was just developing for the first time. I'm just talking about like YouTube and all these other places where like young men congregated, right, on the internet. And it was even worse than it is now. Ironically enough, it's crazy to think of anything worse than what it looks like right now, the media landscape, but it certainly was. I mean, you had out and about white nationalists, race realists, people like that would go on the Joe Rogan Experience, right? And Joe Rogan himself was he was basically the top of the funnel for a lot of this, what we now know as the right-wing rabbit hole, the alt-right rabbit hole. So it's always been heavily dominated by right-wingers, and I think part of that is because the institutional right and its media arm has always been very focused on every medium that they can dominate. So there's a lot of financial investment as well. It's not an accident that, for example, Ben Shapiro's operation, The Daily Wire, I mean, he's fallen apart at this point, but back in the day, back in its heyday, was initially propped up by the Wilkes brothers. These are two Texan oil barons. They're also institutional investors and big Republican Party boosters in general. So there's always been a lot of cross-pollination between legacy publishers on the right and independent voices on the right. One example I also point to all the time, Charlie Kirk, who is no longer with us, but back when he was in I don't know. Okay, you pointed up there. But
it's over for me.
We started around the same time in our I guess media journeys, right, in our careers. And he started off by going to Foster Freeze, this Republican booster, and begging him for money to set up a 501c4 operation, Turning Point USA, so that he could basically do a Citizens United in high school elections and college elections. Like, that was the original.
We read that case today in our constitutional law class.
Oh,
cool. Connected.
Okay. Nerd.
I didn't point that one out.
Yeah. But basically, that's what he initially wanted to do, and for the longest time, I mean, how did Charlie Kirk become famous? Right? He wrote for his high school newspaper. He wrote an article complaining that a black woman had actually taken his space at West Point Academy. No evidence for this whatsoever. Obviously, he just completely made it up. But it was exactly the type of like culture war piece that culture warriors were looking for, and that piece was published on Breitbart. And I think in a matter of months, Charlie Kirk, this high school graduate who didn't go to college, was already was already doing Fox News hits. Like, he was going on Fox News. So like, Republicans have this much more sophisticated machine of like plucking talent that they find wherever they can and boosting them. And the institutional donors are the exact same, and the machine is far more. The ecosystem that they've created is far more collaborative with like the independent side. So I think that's one of the most significant components as to why there's so much right-wing messaging on the independent side of things, because when you're inundated with that, the algorithm feeds more into it, and then a lot of people who are simply trying to make a name for themselves or looking at the algorithm realize that that is the type of content and commentary that works. So then they start repeating those narratives, even if they don't personally have an investment in like reactionary commentary at all.
Well, can I ask you a follow-up to that? Because why is it that the institutional right is so much better at acknowledging that they need to build those bridges with these kind of independent voices, and that those independent voices are a necessary bridge to this new young audience, where the left and the Democratic Party, separate from the left, has so blatantly failed to do that?
Yeah, I had the same question. I feel like there's a lot of dissent that is limited by these mainstream Democratic Party like proponents who they refuse to acknowledge or listen to the opinions of people on the left who honestly represent not just a lot of young people, but a lot of the party. It's a coalition that is failing to address its coalition members.
They hear it and they tell us to shut up, right? They say keep talking if you want more Trump. So.
And the best like representation of that came with Palestine when it was the last election. They completely ignored a huge percentage of its voter base and then tried to blame that voter base for having that dissent.
So why do they suck so much?
This is something I think about a lot, and it's certainly top of mind for me in this past like week and a half, where a lot of the same organs of the Democratic Party that are like desperately clinging on to any sort of institutional relevancy or institutional persuasive capabilities that they have are recognizing that they're losing that argument because the masses are demanding a lot more from the party. Third Way wrote this article or this op-ed on Wall Street Journal. For those of you who don't know, Third Way is a neoliberal think tank that is perhaps one of the most responsible for the Democratic failures that we've seen, both with Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris. They've been in operation since the Clinton era. And they are the ones who are constantly telling Democrats, like, you have to go right-wing, you have to go more to the right, you have to concede on right-wing culture war framing on silly issues and hysterias and moral panics that these right-wingers whip up, because, God forbid, we actually offer people any sort of material change or left populism. We can't do that because our donors will be offended. So they represent the interests of billionaires and corporations, and they've been fairly successful in making sure that the Democratic Party also represents those interests. So,
no doubt.
This is a much larger issue within the party infrastructure, and to simply put it, it's because our worldview in the base and what a lot of Democrats, even self-identifying liberals, want out of the party is directly at odds with what the party is willing to do. Because at the end of the day, and this is a little reductive, it's a little reductive, but the Democratic Party and the Republican Party have an assortment of different corporate interests that they represent. And they're both capitalist parties.
Absolutely.
And it's not like a hidden secret. They openly say it, right? They've on numerous occasions they've signed off on messaging bills overwhelmingly that disavow communism, socialism, and the like. It's really stupid when Democrats do it because they're going to call you a communist anyway. Nancy Pelosi from this area is the #1 communist in the United States of America for years, and yet she keeps signing off on these like messaging bills that say she's not a communist, and how communism is devastating. Whatever, but it's true. The Democratic Party is a capitalist party. They engage in what I call consensus politics. There's consensus when it comes to healthcare, for example. Healthcare must remain privatized. Now, if you were to ask the base of the Democratic Party, do you think healthcare should be private or socialized? The overwhelming majority would say socialized medicine. Every other OECD nation has it. Why can't we have it? We're the wealthiest nation on earth. And even beyond the base of the Democratic Party, I think the overwhelming majorities of Americans would sign on to something like Medicare for all. It's part of the reason why Bernie Sanders was so successful and still is so popular.
Republicans too.
Yeah, Republicans as well. But there's consensus politics there. So the Democrats are actually antagonistic towards anyone that is willing to caucus with Democrats or self-identifying as a Democrat that is actively demanding Medicare for all, because that goes against their interest, because the politicians' interest is to remain in power, and in order to remain in power, they just sit there and collect checks from the lobbying arm of these assortment of corporate interests, and if they were to actually follow through on campaign promises that they make, that would require them to go against the wishes of their corporate benefactors, their donors. That's the primary constituency that they care about, not necessarily the actual voters, which is why there is this divergence between people like myself as a representation of the masses and their needs and their desires, and what the Democratic Party wants to communicate. And for the longest time, they've been able to gatekeep information. They've been able to gatekeep who gets to be ordained as a spokesperson for the Democratic Party, as a spokesperson that is representative of the voters as well, because you'd go on MSNBC, go on CNN, maybe you get a profile in the New York Times or whatever, but ultimately it was much easier to control the dissemination of information. It was much easier to whip the base into support, especially with harm reduction narratives, which is like the only tool that they have in the tool belt, which is technically correct. In theory, harm reduction is correct, but it is demonstrably a failure for driving out turnout and winning elections. And we've seen that with Hillary Clinton, we saw that with Kamala Harris. But at the end of the day, the reason why the Democrats don't have the same cross-pollination in their media ecosystem as the Republicans do is because no matter how far right you go, all the way to Nick Fuentes, right? All the way to white nationalism, like out and about white nationalism and racism, there isn't as much friction with someone like Nick Fuentes. There isn't much of a difference in the worldview with someone like Nick Fuentes and what he represents versus someone like Donald Trump, the current president, as opposed to someone like myself. Obviously, I'm not making a moral equivocation here between myself and Nick Fuentes, contrary to what the Jewish Insider
That's what people
would
expected
say.
you to do.
Yeah. If you ask Third Way and all of the other centrist right-wing Democrats and what they've been writing, I'm exactly like them for some reason.
Indiscernible.
Yeah, but I am antagonistic to the way that the Democratic Party wants to the way that the Democratic Party wants to present itself, and it's not for electoral purposes. It's simply because they don't want to overpromise and offend their donors. That's the real reason. Because I truly believe that if Democrats were, for example, leading on the issue of Israel, right, which is what the base wants, it's a 90-10 issue. If every single Democrat was responsive to the needs of their base of support, every single Democrat would be out and about being like, we have to cut off all aid to Israel right now, tomorrow. We have to punish Israel. We have to make sure that Israel's punished for committing a genocide. This is heinous. It's a heinous crime, and we have to bring Israel to heel. That's the argument that the base wants from the Democrats. And yet, if you were to look at the actual party, the representatives, the senators, they don't represent the interests of the base at all. It's 90-10 on the opposite direction, where 90% still trying to figure out a way to communicate on this issue without offending donors, without offending the previous sensibilities on this issue.
And to your point, they give us the exact same thing that the Republican Party gives us. So your point about Nick Fuentes and the equivocation between you and him is very well taken, because it's very true. It comes down to class, right? Mm-hmm. A guy like Nick Fuentes is saying very different things than you are, but you're appealing to people who have the same ultimate interests and whose enemy is a common one, which whether they think it's the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, mm-hmm. it's the same enemy that represents the same interests, which are diametrically opposed to you, mm-hmm. regardless of whether you wear a red hat or I stand with her t-shirt, right? So I want Kimia to be able to take
I was like,
it
where
and
are you
move on.
going with that?
It's class.
No, I agree 100%. I think another thing, like going off of this, is talking about like the success of Zohran Mamdani's campaign in New York. Obviously, you were a supporter of his. You were there when he was elected. I think progressive politics took a shift and wanted to basically take a lot of what was successful from that campaign and distill it into theirs across races in this country. We see it happening here in San Francisco. We see it happening in many other races. Mm-hmm. There was a big social media aspect to his campaign, obviously well-produced videos that were catered to young people, running around doing things like subway takes and every different like social media influencer show under the sun, but he also went out and spoke to people. Do you think that Zohran's success is able to be replicated in other places, or do you think it's because of his charisma and unique policies? And what can the left do to get more Zohrans, not just say that they are Zohran?
That's a great question. I love Zohran. I love his team. There are a lot of people that are in my community that worked on the campaign, both as like door knockers, but also directly with Zohran as well. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to say that it wasn't just the social media. And they're the first to admit that as well. I mean, they're brilliant. They're super talented. But the reality of the matter is, it wasn't even like unique to Zohran's charisma. I mean, he is charismatic. Yeah. He's very affable. He's a wonderful guy. He's a real schmoozer, right? No, I'm telling you, like 100%. He makes you feel very special, and I'm sure that's how he was able to rizz up Donald Trump as well. But he's not like, I mean, he has a lot of talent, but the real reason why I think Zohran won was because he identified himself with. He went out, he asked people, what do you need, right? And he identified 5 key policies that were achievable, and he chose to identify himself with those 5 policies, right? And he set that standard. And he said, I am going to materially improve your lives, and here's how I'm going to do that, right? And that is, in some ways, that should not be unique at all. Yeah. But unfortunately, in this day and age, in American politics, that is the most unique thing. Oh, yeah. It's one I've been trying to get other politicians on board with for years at this point. So I was very excited when I first met him. I was like, he was doing exactly what I've been demanding other politicians do. But that was the main reason why Zohran Mamdani won. It's great that he's following through and doing sewer socialism, showing what competent governance is supposed to look like, what responsive governance is supposed to look like, and build confidence back not only in the party but also be a movement leader in that regard to make people more comfortable with the idea of like a socialist elected, to no longer be fearful of that moniker. But ultimately, we can have Zohrans everywhere. There are Zohrans everywhere. We just have not been able to unlock their potential yet. There are. Where are you pointing at me?
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you very strongly.
there are, yeah. I mean, that's the dream, right? Let 1,000 Zorons bloom. That's precisely what I want to do. But there are a lot of institutional hurdles, as I have seen thus far in this primary cycle. I have a lot of candidates that I'm working with right now. There are a lot of people who are aware they did not want Zoran to be the mayor, and they they put Cuomo up and backed him pretty heavily, and still failed. The way I see it is a lot of Democratic Party donors were never really fearful of Zoran failing, like winning and then failing and then being a national figurehead for the Democratic Party that the Republicans would use to attack the rest of the Democrats. Yeah. That's the way they presented, right? Yeah. No, they were afraid that he was going to be successful, and then the base was going to be like, why don't you do that? Yeah. You know, why not Daniel Lurie? Why aren't you like Zoran? What the fuck are you doing? Is the question.
What the fuck are you doing?
Nice connect.
He's selling us down the river is what he's doing.
No, but that's what I mean. Like when people see that, when people see Zoran Mamdani doing another one of his videos, and he's like, "I'm filling all the potholes in the city. Isn't that awesome?" And then people look at the potholes that are that exist everywhere here. They're like, "Well, why can't you do that? He's doing it in New York."
Because Lurie's at the new opening of some really bougie coffee shop, talking about we're so happy that the 9th location has opened.
Or the new Taco Bell Cantina.
New Taco Bell Cantina. You can get a boozy, slushy Baja Blast. That's a great point, man. I mean, think how crazy it is, though, that what you're describing that Zoran did, and that you're trying to get other candidates to do, is just have an actual policy platform.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. Like, just give us tangible policies that work for us, that allow working class people to live lives of dignity, and have access to the basic requirements to survive in this late stage capitalist world that we're living in. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's fantastical to say please have a policy platform. I want to move now to talk about something that you touched on earlier, actually, which is the state of objective truth in the present day. I think we're living increasingly in a post-objective truth era, which started largely during Trump's first campaign. I remember in those days there would be like these really outlandish lies that would get peddled. Like I remember Kellyanne Conway coming out and talking about a Bowling Green massacre, for instance. Yeah. And it was a humongous story, and there was huge outcry, like how could this person who's a high-ranking official in Trump's team just completely make something up? And now, in Trump's second term, almost 10 years later, we're slapped in the face with lies that are that bold on a daily basis, and we're completely desensitized to it. And what's also happened in that time is the proliferation of AI tools and generative AI, which has really impacted and exacerbated this reality or lack thereof that we're living in, where when you see content now, you literally don't know you don't know if the video you're looking at or the audio you're hearing is true or false. You also don't know if the content being said, if it is a real video, is true or false. I don't know if you saw this a few days ago, the White House posted about a White House app that they're releasing, and a lot of people think that the video of Trump peddling this White House app is an AI video. I don't know if people have seen it. It's very trippy though. It does appear. I mean, I watched it, and Trump posted it, and the White House posted it, and I think of myself as a fairly reasonable person, and I don't know if it's AI. It really looks like it could be. So what what do we do, and what do you as somebody with a platform, trying to bring truth to people? How does the public reconcile this new reality we're living in when it comes to the nature of truth and the inability for us to know what the hell is true and what ain't?
Well, my policy is to be as stubborn as possible, and just be as hard-headed as possible, and just keep yelling at people when they come in with fake nonsense. At least that's what I do, and that offends the sensibilities of a lot of people, unfortunately, but I think that's what has to happen. Like, someone has to shake some sense into people, because there are a lot of, there's confirmation bias is a very powerful feeling. So a lot of people will lean into confirmation bias and will look at things that correspond to however they feel about the world, and will assume that they're real. and won't check it. So one of the things that I try to educate people on is like, if there's a narrative that feels too good to be true, you should be extra skeptical of that and really confirm whether or not it actually is true, right? I mean, we saw an example of this with the quote-unquote fake assassination of Benjamin Netanyahu. For like the past month, there's been a lot of chatter on whether or not Benjamin Netanyahu is dead.
Is he dead?
And
What do you think?
no, he's not dead. So
I don't know, bro.
But that's what I mean. It's like a lot of people
I haven't
are
seen him.
casting, and they think like, oh, it'll be, it's. Not me, of course. I am agnostic on whether or not Benjamin Netanyahu is dead or not.
Yes.
I have no feelings on the matter. But see, I don't want to get you in trouble.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
At this point,
This is why she did the disclaimer, because like this is not the opinions of the university.
I said what I needed to say.
Yeah.
What should we check the university's official stance on whether or not Netanyahu's dead or alive? I don't know if they have one.
But a lot of people were like,
I think they have.
He's alive? They're telling me to stop. Sorry.
well, my point was that people wanted it to be true, so they were like picking apart all of the videos that were coming out, and like what a lot of people don't realize is there's a concept called artifacting when you compress videos and compress footage, and then there's also a lot of editing tools that make certain videos look like it's AI when it's not actually AI. So people get duped into believing that the videos that were being revealed of Benjamin Netanyahu were actually AI because there were certain parts of it that looked strange.
What is that called?
Artifacting?
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's when if you compress a video and then decompress it or like post it. Sometimes there's going to be like weird visual.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like the frame rate.
Yeah,
gets
weird
fucked up.
visual quirks.
Or like the hand having 6 fingers, something like that.
Well, that is a little bit more strange. That's definitely a telltale sign that it could be AI. But I don't even think that. I don't think that the Benjamin Netanyahu video even had 6 fingers anyway. But like, the point is. See, like when this kind of stuff spreads around and there's a lot of people that are motivated to believe it, then it almost becomes the truth itself. And I try to sorry to disappoint you. But
2 + 2 is 5.
Yeah. I try to maintain some semblance of the truth to the best of my ability, in spite of whatever my biases may be. And even when it's a narrative that doesn't actually suit my propagandistic purposes, I will still commit to the truth regardless, no matter what. And I feel like someone has to do it. And even if it's not, even if it doesn't favor you, even if it is not beneficial for you, I think you still have to commit to it regardless, because. Like I said, otherwise there's no consensus reality.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm afraid of. So I really appreciate that. I guess all we can do is what you're doing. Maintain integrity in ourselves and remain objective even when it doesn't favor us. And if enough people do that, we'll hopefully be safe.
Yeah, I agree. So I want to talk a little bit about the Iranian situation. So I'm a first-generation Iranian born in this country, the daughter of immigrants, as mentioned earlier. So what's going on in Iran has been obviously very impacted by the influence of media and the lack thereof. So certain narratives are getting to come out of Iran, certain narratives aren't able to come out of Israel or other U.S. bases. And with the Iranian regime having such a tight control over the internet situation there, it's created a lot of discourse within both leftist communities and the Iranian diaspora. So I know that it's been such a frustrating situation where there's this huge Iranian Zionist diaspora population who has been parroting for the return of the Shah's son, who's literally never had a political career a day in his life, riding his dad's coattails, and his own mother didn't think that he should be a leader. And then they're all supporting him, Israel supporting him. And then there's also a valid criticism of the regime that's getting suppressed by leftist communities. And they're saying that, Iran's fighting Israel, which that's a positive thing. We are not going to criticize the regime, and if you criticize the regime, you're Zionist. So how do you make sense in your conversations about the Iranian situation? Because as somebody who's anti-war but also anti-regime, it is very difficult to see so many narratives say that if you're one, you're not the other, or vice versa. So how do you make sense of this? How do you think that the war is going to play out? Do you see any situation that there's going to be the return of the Shah? I mean, personally, no.
For all of his failures, I think Trump is like pretty good at figuring out what works when he does end up successfully doing some sort of regime change. I mean, we saw this with Maria Machado, right? Yeah. Where he recognized that there wasn't any like real popular mobilization for Maria Machado in Venezuela, so he kidnapped Maduro, which was insane in and of itself, but he did that regardless, and that's a thing that we are doing. He's literally in an American prison right now, just a foreign head of a sovereign state, and he decided to work with Delcy Rodriguez, which was more pliant, but still someone who I guess resembles the popular base for the Chavistas, right? Like a continuation of that same movement. So he's more pragmatic than I'd like to give him credit, and for that reason, I think he recognized pretty early on that the Reza Pahlavi thing was like, no, this guy doesn't have the motion, right? So I don't think that's going to happen. As far as the Iranian government goes, it's a brutal government, certainly. Having said that, I have personally maintained the position that number one, I think if there's any sort of movement, it has to be born from the Iranian population without external influence. There's a Chinese saying that I've been repeating as of late, which is when an egg is cracked from the outside, it becomes food. When an egg is cracked from within, it brings life.
That's really good.
Unfortunately, all of the external influences, sometimes directly, like openly communicated, like in the last round of protests that took place in the country, is always going to lead to even more ruthless suppression from the government, because it gives them a just cause to be as ruthless as possible. And there's also the obvious like interest in maintaining sovereignty as well, because no matter how brutal or how ruthless a government is, and I use my own personal experience with the Turkish government, a country I can't even go back to, for my commentary and my coverage and the things that I've written about the Turkish government. A coup had taken place, an American-backed coup had taken place in Turkey, and at that point I was fully in support of the Turkish government maintaining some semblance of sovereignty, rather than the coup succeeding and then Turkey being led by an American CIA puppet by the name of Fethullah Gulen. So my attitude on Iran is similar, in the sense that while the Iranian government, the Islamic Republic, might be repressive in many ways, in order for Iran to not be balkanized and cut apart by endless sectarian conflict and ethnic tensions that are being actively fomented by outside groups, countries like Israel and the United States of America, the government has to remain sovereign for the time being, for this duration, and hopefully down the line, the Iranian people can make their demands be heard. But as far as like why I'm not as critical as others would be on the Iranian government as I would be in other circumstances, that's the main reason. Because I do feel like the American goals and the Israeli goals from the start were pretty obvious. They were different from one another. I think America would be fine with regime change, with like a pliant government. It doesn't really matter who it is. It could still be the Islamic Republic. I don't think America would care that much, but Israel very clearly did not want a sovereign Iran, or even an Iran that would be an American puppet, as long as their ballistic missiles could reach Tel Aviv. That's what their goal was, and they knew that they weren't going to be able to reach a compromise, and they very clearly wanted to just create a failed state in this country with thousands of years of history, with 93 million people living in it. And Israel's very clearly trying to disrupt that process right now. Every time, Donald Trump comes out and practically begs for an off-ramp before immediately turning around and being like, we're going to destroy Iran. Because every now and then, like, you'll hear him be like, oh, they really want to do a deal with me, which is Trump speak for, I really want to do a deal with you guys, please. This Strait of Hormuz thing is really messed up. Israel will go and like assassinate another figure, or they'll blow up a desalination plant and like greatly go up the escalation ladder. And I think there's a purpose for that, and that's because they don't want any talks to happen, and they want this to continue. They don't care if the Gulf is diminished. As a matter of fact, that actually benefits them, right? And they just want to bring about complete destruction and complete chaos in the region, because Iran, for all of its faults and failures internally, for all of its domestic problems, has been a sovereign force in the region that has shown time and time again that it has the capabilities of pushing back against Israel, and that's their
sole
primary
sovereign
concern.
force.
Yeah.
Right, and there's no other force. I share your perspective entirely on the Iranian regime. As a Palestinian who's seen this play out time and time again, it's shocking to see the American public buy into this narrative again that maybe America can go in and save Iran and save the Iranian people. So I'm with you. It's disrespectful to the sovereignty of other nations, and it's this American hubris and arrogance. We tried it in Iraq, we tried it in Afghanistan, and
many other places,
and many other places too. And so it's just horrible to to support. And you have to be able to, I think, compartmentalize, as you say, your qualms that you have with the existing regime, with also the knowledge that history has proven that America toppling said regime will result in way more destruction and chaos and instability for the local people that will then last for generations to come. And the biggest irony for me is every critique that the American public, white liberal people have about Iran and why it's so important that we go in and provide freedom for these Iranian women, you could make the exact same critique about the American government. Yet the concept of suggesting that Iran should come in and liberate America is science fiction. So I want to ask about Palestine now, if that's okay. And we do want to move to audience questions, so we'll do that as quickly as we can. But we have one question about organizing from the perspective of Palestine. I am Palestinian. We have a beautiful contingent of Palestinian delegates here with us as well. And in 2023, after October 7th, I was part of a coalition of activists in San Francisco that we were doing so much work to try to raise awareness and do what groups all over the country and all over the world were doing, going out and organizing huge marches and rallies that had literally dozens of thousands of people turning out. But one of the things we did was we advocated to the local board of supervisors in San Francisco to pass a resolution condemning the Israeli military offensive on Palestine, that iteration that began on October 7th. And it was successful. We had the Board of Supervisors pass a resolution that at least called for a ceasefire. This was before anyone in the world was calling it a genocide. So the bar was lower, but it was in early December of 2023, and San Francisco, because of that work that we did, became the first major city in the U.S. to pass a ceasefire resolution. And at the time, myself and other local Palestinian activists and community felt a sense of elation and pride about this symbolic victory that had been had. But with time, and with so much more effort and energy that was invested, despite these incredible turnouts and despite seeing this which was very inspiring, global movement of acknowledgement for Palestinian human rights like we had never imagined, as you mentioned earlier. I never would have imagined that such a shift in the cultural collective consciousness was possible. And it did happen. But it was all symbolic. And while all of that work was being done remotely, the situation on the ground for Palestinians not only did not improve, it became materially worse. And to this day, it has continued to become materially worse. And so I started to feel early on into the last 3-year stretch a lot of disillusionment and disassociation, and frankly, kind of subconsciously stepped back from advocacy because of the disillusionment I felt, the lack of real impact. So I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the value of remote advocacy that does a lot to change hearts and minds, and has these symbolic victories that I speak of, but while the material situation on the ground for people that are victims of genocide and victims of imperialism are not changing at all. What is the role of that advocacy, and what is the role of violent resistance?
So, great question. I would say that you should never discount the awareness initiatives in general. I think that's still very important because, remember, we're going up against a multi-billion-dollar behemoth that had a very sophisticated, very pervasive influence peddling mechanism that has dominated American discourse from organs of propaganda in the media all the way to an advocacy network and even a lobbying arm that has been able to successfully change American laws that even contradict the First Amendment. A lot of, I mean, you guys know, you're in law school, but there's 38 states where the First Amendment is directly violated at the behest of AIPAC, at the behest of a foreign nation, where you have to do a loyalty pledge to the state of Israel, pretty much, to retain a job, right?
Just happened in California.
In Texas, yeah, in California too. In Texas, if you want to be a public school teacher, you have to literally sign a pledge that says you will never boycott, divest, or demand sanctions from the state of Israel. It's unbelievable. Americans fancy themselves to love the First Amendment. Yeah, so it's totally ridiculous. But the reason why I say you shouldn't discount it is because, like, in spite of all of that, in spite of these great odds, like, we have been able to penetrate collective consciousness in a very meaningful way. Now, of course, that's not enough. I think a lot of people, don't realize what other steps that they can take in this moment. That's why I always say, like, boycotts, divestments, and sanctions, like demanding boycotts, demanding divestments, and demanding sanctions from the state of Israel is the bare minimum that we can do, which is why we should still continue to push for that, regardless of how many institutional hurdles are presented, because that is a very successful way, I think, to decouple institutions that we're a part of from the state of Israel, from the apartheid state that is conducting a genocide and currently also displacing 1 million plus Lebanese people in southern Lebanon, and hasn't stopped doing it at all. Right. And I think slowly but surely we chip away at that, and we continue our advocacy that way. Obviously, change is not going to happen overnight. So, at least in my experience, like the very fact that broad awareness has changed, like that gives me a lot more confidence and inspires me to do more, because I don't know. I mean, I think about nihilism. I talk about this all the time, but it's very disheartening to work tirelessly towards a goal and then to not achieve it, especially when you're seeing your loved ones or people that you care about perish in the hands of this uncontrollable violent entity. And then I start thinking about Rabbi Shmuley, and I think to myself, if I gave up, he'd be really happy, you know? So if you can't find it, within yourself, if you can't simply hold on to victories, no matter how minor it may seem, right? Then let spite breathe more life into your movement, you know, and that's what keeps me going.
Hell yeah, brother.
In weak moments. Just think about Rabbi Shmuley.
You hear that, Shmuley? Yeah. We ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Think about Michael Rappaport.
Dude, oh my God, the worst. That guy sucks.
Yeah. See? It's already happening.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I agree with you entirely. I agree with you entirely. Thank you for those words.
So I think to close out our pre-planned questions, you know, we're getting to a more optimistic note, which I think we're already kind of naturally leaning into. So we have a lot of future lawyers here, maybe in the chat too. So what is your message for future lawyers and what they can do, specifically with the privilege of skills that we've obtained through this specific type of education and obtaining a JD and navigating the world in this way? What can we do to make the world a better place?
It's a tough one, but I mean, work pro bono with people that are less privileged. You know, go into become do public counsel for people, and just try to do your very best. Don't go into corporate law. Those are the things that I would say. And then outside of that, I mean, a lot of people will go into law, but then will potentially have ambitions of going into politics as well. So just, you know, remember your first principles and always try to lead by empathy if you are to do such a thing, if you are to go into politics eventually. And, you know, try to make the world a better place.
Well said, brother. I have a lot of other questions I want to ask you, but I'm already going to get expelled as it is, and we want to make sure we have time for everybody. So we're going to turn it over and let the folks take the rest of our time to comment and question.
So this is how this part is going to work, y'all. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to have you ask your questions from where you are sitting. Feel free to stand. I'm going to take a stack, and I'm going to give you a number. If you have a question, raise your hand. Then when I give you a number, put your hand down so that I keep track of everyone. And please make sure your question is a question and not a comment. Okay? All right, who has questions? Raise them high. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. And remember your number because I'm not writing it down. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you think of a question while this is happening, I'm still taking stack on my notes. So just look at me, raise your hands, and I will give you a number. And we end with
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Shada. Something that I really believe in is education rehabilitation. It's something that you preach for a while now. And but this is like something that is like very rare when there has been a rise in cancel culture and in like performative progressiveness. And this has led you to be called like anti-Semitic, racist, homophobic, transphobic, sexist even. And I was just wondering, why do you think that that's the response to label someone to try to completely discredit who they are or their platform?
I think, well, as far as like why people call me those things, it's because they can't actually argue against the positions that I advance on moral terms, so they have to disparage the messenger instead. It's a common tactic. It's a very cynical one, but it does actually have a lot of success. Why does it have a lot of success? Because Americans have a very draconian culture. We're very punitive people in general, and I think that attitude carries itself into our daily lives as well. We don't believe that people have the capacity to change, even if we know people that have changed, even if we have changed ourselves on certain positions, right? But I think that's what it is. We're constantly seeking to punish people. We have a little cop in our brains at all times, and I always tell people that to try to kill the cop in your brain to stop behaving in that way. But I think that's what it is.
Thank you. What was number 2? I'm going to pass around this little thing so we can hear you.
So my name is Ruben. I am involved with the Association of Law and Political Economy. We're a national organization of legal professionals with the focus on applying a leftist analysis to the law. Admittedly, I'm kind of asking this question to kind of plug them. If you're a leftist in law school, join. But I think a lot about, you know, the first they came for the communists, and I feel like once it gets to that point, once they've manufactured enough consent to come for the communists, it's too late. We're fucked. And so I think it's really important for the left to, you know, inextricably embed themselves into community as much as possible. You know, we see with every election, there's a lot of power in being the guy that people want to grab a beer with. So I guess my question, or at the same time, we should be like unmistakably leftist. So I guess my question, the two questions is, can we cultivate that idea that we are like members of the community, or is leftism too radical to be members of non-political communities? Second, can we force them to televise the revolution?
So first question, yes, you can and you should. That's why I always tell at least my audience to be normal, right? It's very powerful. Like, and I think a lot of people actually don't realize how powerful that social function is. You can, like, one example I always use is, at least from my trans fans and friends, from their personal experiences, like, the greatest way to undermine transphobic propaganda that's pretty much everywhere is just by being a chill coworker. At least from their perspective, that's where they've seen the most success, where they just, work at an Amazon facility, and these guys that normally you'd consider to be chuds are, they vibe, they talk about sports and whatnot, and then slowly but surely they realize that they were just simply inundated with so much stereotyping and so much propaganda, and that's the reason why they had these sorts of opinions about what it is to be trans, right? And the same thing goes for being a leftist. Just be a normal person. Not everything has to be revolutionary. Not every conversation has to revolve around a principled demonstration of Marxist orthodoxy. And as a matter of fact, you should never do that. You should just be a normal guy and try to sneak in certain points of view into your conversation if you want to gauge the interests of people around you. I think that's what good organizers would also tell you, and that's precisely what good union organizers would do as well. Like when you're salting a place, I don't think you go in and immediately you're like, "How are you doing, fellow workers?" Like, let me tell you about the power of collective bargaining. Like you just grab a couple beers and talk about TV shows or whatever. Just be a normal person. As far as your second question goes, can we force the revolution to be televised? Is that what you said? Probably not. I don't know. I mean, maybe. There is a lot of power in propaganda. Agitated propaganda is very important. It's the backbone of instilling class consciousness. What I try to do, and I think there are a lot of other sympathetic figures in places that you would not even expect, and they try to do their very best as well. But as far as television and mainstream culture, it's still heavily propped up by capital owners. So I guess if you make good content that makes them money, they don't care. And you can maybe at best hope for that. But as far as institutionalized socialist messaging coming from the likes of CNN, Communist News Network, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Who was the third question?
Yeah. I was watching a past stream of yours where you were discussing October 7th and the topic of the UN's report of sexual violence committed by Hamas came in, and I think your exact words were, "I don't fucking care about the rapes." Would you mind explaining why you said that?
Yeah. I said, it doesn't matter whether sexual violence took place on October 7 or not. That doesn't change the dynamic for me around genocide. And that's still something that I stand by. It's a quote that people try to weaponize against me with regular frequency. But I don't think you would disagree with that sentiment, right? Do you feel like sexual violence happening is a justification for genocide?
No, I don't, but I also think, in a room where there's future prosecutors and public defenders that are going to go into victims' advocacy, purporting that you don't care about sexual violence happening is very dangerous.
Okay, but but now that you understand the context of it, you understand what I was saying, right? Because there was a person who was actually claiming that that there was no evidence for sexual violence taking place at all, and the argument in the much broader context was me saying whether or not sexual violence has taken place does not change the dynamic of, or does not justify genocide taking place. I think that's a fairly reasonable critique, right? Or, I don't know, do you think Israel committed a genocide? Maybe you have an issue with that as well.
So victims are collateral damage in pursuit of the greater good.
Do you think Israel committed a genocide? If you don't mind me asking?
Well, why aren't you staying on topic on the question that I asked you?
This is the topic. You asked me a question, I'm asking you so we can have a normal conversation. Do you think Israel committed a genocide?
I do, and I also
Okay,
think
great.
that minimizing rape is wrong.
Do you think that the sexual violence taking place on October 7 would justify Israel's a genocide, or do you think genocide is unjustifiable?
I think it's not a dichotomy.
Okay. So where do we go from here? So we're in agreement.
I thank you for your explanation. I just wanted to know why you said that you did not care about rape victims.
Okay. Do you feel like I explained it thoroughly?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
That was beautiful to witness. Just vote, guys.
Only one question.
Hi, I'm Daniel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Daniel.
As someone who, I'm Iranian and Jewish, my family had to leave because of the Iranian Revolution. And like a lot of on my mother's side, a lot of my mother's family are all Zionist. They, for some reason, have this larger connection with Israel than they do their own country. And it's something that my sister...
I live very close to Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I'm from LA, so yeah. It's like my sister and I have talked about it so much, especially with like that side of the family, and trying constantly to convince them that like their thinking is wrong. And I guess my question is generally is just like, at what point do we say like you're just hopeless, I can't deal with you anymore, versus like I'm gonna still try to like convince you of this, in my opinion, just fact that like what they're doing is just objectively horrible and wrong?
That's a great question. I think I have a policy of never giving up on people, and but I also, like I said earlier, try to commit to being normal as well. So sometimes those two things are at odds with one another. And what I would suggest is to, stay in contact with your loved ones and your relatives and just like try to avoid that topic, or maybe slowly broach into that topic every now and then, just check in with them to see where they're at. Because as the situation changes, it becomes increasingly more obvious that Israel has no emancipatory interest in like liberating the Iranian population at all. I think your relatives are probably going to have to make up their minds on this, or maybe change their opinion on this, but some might not, because I do think, at least in my experience with like people that I do know from Tehrangelis that identify more with Israel, there is like almost a sense of shame, I think, with like being Iranian. That's why they say they're Persian, not Iranian. There's this attitude, and it's really interesting because like some of the conversations I have are fascinating, where they'll tell me about how they get stopped at airports, and they get stopped at airports because they're perceived as Muslim. Right? They're Iranian, they're perceived as Muslim, they're perceived as a threat, and yet they lean into that same exact attitude when it comes to destroying Iran, and think that they will be perceived in a very different way. So I guess maybe trying to exhaust that contradiction could be helpful as well, in terms of being like, they don't see you as like a part of the in-group. And Israel certainly doesn't care about what happens to Iran. I mean, they're pretty open about it. So that could be one way of trying to have that conversation, especially because like whether you identify as Persian or Iranian, it doesn't matter. Like there is still thousands of years of culture in this country, right? And I'm sure there's a lot that they identify with regardless, and having like watching these like world-renowned, very important cultural monuments get bombed out with American weapons, with Israeli weapons, is hopefully going to change their perspective a little bit, even if they don't necessarily care about, you know, people dying, I guess.
Thank you.
Hi, Hasan. Thanks for coming. I'll keep it short. So, if there's anything that we've seen recently with the No Kings marches, it's that there are a large population of Americans who are willing to go out and fight for something, but it seems that we continue to fail to understand that people don't really shape history as much as the times shape what we're doing. That doesn't make that much sense. But I guess my question is, how do we get America at large to stop focusing on the individual and start focusing on the system? Because there'll always be a Trump, there'll always be a Netanyahu somewhere if we continue to have these systems that, you know, breed them, you know, immensely quickly.
Yeah. Again, it goes back to American cultural attitudes. This is the most individualistic country, one of the most individualistic countries out there, and this is a byproduct of that for sure. America, I think, is the perfect proto-capitalist nation, even with like Manifest Destiny. Before heavy industrialization, there was like constant land expansion, constant domination of the indigenous population. It was so perfect for. It was such a perfect country for capitalism to manifest in, and of course those cultural attitudes have not gone away. Having said that, however, I think there is great discontent right now. As someone who has participated, attended these No Kings protests, from what I've seen, from very unlikely backgrounds, very unlikely demographics, is the shared resentment that we all have, not only for the Republican Party, not only for the reactionary forces, but also for a shared mutual discontent towards the Democratic Party and its ineptitude. So I think that is a wonderful opportunity for organizing. So leaning into that instead of disparaging it, and trying to get these people to organize and to come back to community events and create objectives for everyone. And sometimes those objectives are born out of necessity, like we saw in Minneapolis. Again, people from all different backgrounds, all different ages, got together and immediately participated in Neighborhood Watch, and they did see tremendous success. They were able to successfully purge ICE and ICE operations and immigrant removal operations from Minneapolis, not because the local electeds were actually fighting back. They were actually disastrous, but because the neighborhoods were fighting back. So there's definitely an opportunity to organize there along shared interests and mutual objectives that we all have. It's just many Americans don't have the language and the political education to communicate these desires, to know what they could potentially do. And that is because for decades now, all matter of labor organizing has been thoroughly defanged. And on top of that, any sort of radical political organizing has also been destroyed as well. I mean, it's literally illegal to be a labor union leader and be an avowed communist, right, in this country. Again, another violation of the First Amendment, right? I mean, you guys know this better. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Right?
You're on point.
So there is it's a very successful class war that billionaires, millionaires, capital owners have waged against the working class in this country. But that revolutionary spirit still is here. So what I see from the people that I talk to, like I said, from very unlikely backgrounds, like backgrounds that are very unexpected. You know, like we're talking about 76-year-old, affluent, college-educated old ladies named Barbara, right? That are just like, yeah, I hate the Democrats. Like I need more. I want more from them. You know, we need to figure out a way to organize with those people as well, and to talk to those people as well, because they're there. They just don't. They don't have a productive outlet. And that is by design. We've destroyed all of these productive outlets, these mechanisms of pressure, these mechanisms of pushback. So it's on us to rebuild them. It's on us to engage in political organizing and then engage with the masses as well, who might self-identify as liberal, but actually have a lot more, a lot similar ideological goals to someone like yourself.
Fantastic, thank you.
Do I speak in this or what? Or just speak? Okay. So, yeah, so because you mentioned Citizens United and Breitbart, that both have Steve Bannon at the heart of them. And much of how Citizens United became how old money has transformed into new money, especially through $3 trillion in stimulus over the last 15 years. You know, there has been, the country went from having 100 billionaires to, in 2000 to 1,100 billionaires by 2025. And so how do you think the country should be taught the reality that we are undoubtedly no longer a free market country? We are, you know, not necessarily the same capitalist country we've been. Our government and private corporate sector is like Lowry and Sam Altman are currently.
Yeah. I mean, I think that a lot of people have that mutual discontent towards the unimaginable wealth disparity that exists in this country, because they see it. It's impossible not to recognize it. And I guess, like, in my experience, what I found success is in communicating this reality is by showing people alternatives that exist out there, depending on who you're talking to, right? For someone who might be afraid of more non-white countries and their versions of governance, one very reliable example you can point to is a place like Norway, for example. Like, Norway is a social democracy, but it has nationalized its entire extraction industries. There's a far greater wealth redistribution in the country. Now, a lot of that is changing in Scandinavian countries as well, because obviously social democracy is not enough, and the same capital forces, as long as they exist, are always going to try to destroy any sort of labor organizing and you know, create the same exact late-stage capitalist system that we exist in here in the United States of America, but showing viable alternatives from countries that they might be more sympathetic to is a good starting point for people like that. But like I said, I think it's undeniable. I think the contradictions are worsening to such a degree that it is virtually undeniable that you don't actually have to read Das Kapital to understand that this system is just fundamentally broken. You know, so what you just described as far as like the number of billionaires going from 100 billionaires to 1,100 billionaires is proof enough as it is. So it's a pretty good starting point for that conversation. Also, they make it pretty easy, billionaires, I think. I mean, they're so weird. I mean, Sam Altman is just like, he's a weird guy. You can just be like, look at this weird guy. Do you feel like this guy or Elon Musk actually worked 1 billion times harder than like a school teacher in Oklahoma making $35,000 a year and then having to do Uber at night so that they can have disposable income so they can buy fucking school supplies for their children that they're teaching? Like, it's a ridiculous fucking system that we existed, you know. And yeah, Elon Musk and people like that make it a lot easier too, because everybody hates him. And he's always so desperate to get people to like him, so he's always in public. If I was a billionaire, I'd be like, Elon, what the fuck are you doing? Just go to an island. Like, that's what we all do. We go to islands. What is this? Why are you constantly in public, jumping around and you know, trying to win admiration from the public? You're giving the game away. You're not doing shit. You're tweeting all day. Everybody knows.
Fucking up the vibe.
He got $500 million from Obama's stimulus package too to start Tesla.
Hi, I was just wondering if you can expand on your trip to Cuba and the media blockade in Cuba.
The what blockade?
The media blockade in Cuba.
The media blockade? There isn't really a media blockade. I don't know what you mean by that. Like, do you mean like the government is like not allowing
Just
information?
the lack of coverage on
yeah.
on Cuba?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what I was talking about earlier, as far as the American media playing a very important role in propaganda that is in line with the State Department's interest. For 60 plus years, the American State Department's goal has been to destroy Cuba for having a successful revolution, which originally was a national revolution, an agrarian revolution, a social revolution, and then it turned into a socialist revolution. Since the Eisenhower days, we propped up Batista. He was a brutal tyrant. He tortured a lot of people, and the Cubans decided to fight back against that, develop autonomy, and develop sovereignty in the country. And there were a lot of vested financial interests in the island, sugar plantations. It was a placeholder for a lot of money. We parked a lot of assets there, and the American government didn't like that. They didn't appreciate that there was this island 90 miles off of our coastline that decided to live out their own destiny and their own desires. So what did we do? We decided we're going to implement a ruthless sanctions regime and try to make it virtually impossible for this island to engage in any sort of commerce and develop at all. Luckily, at the time, the USSR was around, and they, picked up the slack. 90s, obviously, the situation has gotten a lot worse. The blockade itself, like seeing it in action, seeing the implementation of the blockade, with my own personal experience at first, having to get an OFAC clearance from the Treasury Department just to travel to an island that's 90 miles off our coast, was fairly ridiculous. Learning about all the arbitrary restrictions that the American government places on American citizens that are traveling to Cuba was also kind of shocking. For example, a lot of people were very critical of the hotel that I stayed in with hundreds of other people that had brought in humanitarian aid to the island, 40 tons of medical aid, food, supplies that were necessary for the people there. Everyone was like, oh, you're staying at a 5-star hotel. Yeah, I was staying in a 5-star hotel because the American government has made it illegal for me to stay in any other hotel. There's only 4 hotels in Havana that American citizens can stay in. How ridiculous is that? There's thousands of hotels on the island. You can only stay in 4, okay?
What's the reason for that?
They claim that the other hotels are owned by the Cuban government technically, and therefore you're funding and facilitating a state sponsor of terror by, going and staying at a government-run hotel. The laws around it are so crazy that if I were to stay in any hotel I wanted to as an American citizen, which is my God-given right, I could come back to the United States of America, and the penalties are 10 years in prison and $250,000 in fines that I would have to pay if I stayed in any other hotel than the hotels that they had designated as safe. It impacts every facet of Cuban existence. It renders commerce impossible. You can't take out any loans whatsoever if you want to start a business. The island is also reformed its economy quite a bit in the last couple of years, especially, and yet it's virtually impossible for private commerce to happen anyway on the island because, like I said, it's impossible for them to get a loan. I'll take it one step further. Some of you might not know this, but if you go on Venmo or PayPal right now, and if you were to send a friend of yours $10 or any amount of money, and then in the description you wrote, Cuban funds or Cuba Libre or anything like that, both of your accounts would get suspended.
I'm going to do that right now.
Okay.
Cuba Libre also a drink?
Yes. Not only that, but also, if you are a Swiss national who's also on Venmo or PayPal, and you're communicating with an Italian national also on Venmo or PayPal, and you do that same thing, they also get banned nonetheless, even though these two countries have no animosity towards Cuba at all, even though these countries have consistently voted at the UN General Assembly since the 90s to end the American blockade, to end the American sanctions regime. And yet, because these are American companies, they have tremendous power over what people can and can't do. and abide by these totally arbitrary, totally ridiculous restrictions. And there's obviously a lot more impactful aspects of the blockade as well, but its design is meant to be invisible, so that Americans can turn around and say, the reason why Cuba is suffering is not because of some blockade that you made up, some sanctions regime that you made up in your mind, but it's actually because of communism. And the real reason, of course, is that they don't want Cuba to be a sovereign country, and they don't want Cuba to thrive so close to the United States of America, and make sure that it's consistently punished, and make sure that the people are consistently suffering, so that anytime anyone gets any ideas about like socialized medicine, for example, or anything that American capital owners consider to be dangerous communism or socialism, you can always point to Cuba and be like, see, they're suffering. They tried it, and that's why they're suffering. Now, of course, there's really damaging aspects of it. It's obviously worsened significantly since Donald Trump came out and decided to do a full oil blockade, making it impossible for the island to receive any oil whatsoever. The only allowance for oil on the island is twofold. One, Guantanamo Bay, our torture facility on the island of Cuba that we have owned in perpetuity. If you're in Guantanamo Bay, you're an American citizen that's working on the base. You got McDonald's there, you got all the latest cars, they ship all of that there, and they consistently ship diesel and oil to Guantanamo Bay as well to make sure the lights are on at the torture facility. The other allowance for oil on the island is private businesses, like the hotel that I was staying at, which is precisely the reason why when the entire city block and the entire city grid goes out, and there's no energy for the actual normal functions of the city, which includes hospitals as well in certain instances, the only places that do have electricity are the hotels that the American government is sending oil to, or other American government is allowing other countries to send oil to. They've basically forcibly created class friction, class antagonism in this country that's run by a communist party. And it is by design. They want to create enmity amongst the masses that will turn around and say, my hospital is out of energy, but that hotel right there, that hotel still has electricity. The government is allowing the hotel to have oil and gas. The government is not giving, the government's not allowing me to have electricity in my house, and my food is spoiling. And there's mixed results. I would say, from all the conversations that I had. I think a lot of the Cuban youth, all they've known is poverty born out of this blockade. And of course, you're going to blame your government for it. And you're going to assume that it's because of the government that you've only experienced poverty. And then you look to Miami, so close to the island, and you think, oh, there's so much prosperity. They got big-ass cars over there. They got gold chains. They're living large in Miami, and they don't see Skid Row, and they don't see all the poverty. So they develop this attitude. But for the most part, I think a lot of Cubans are like, even if they have criticisms, they're very aware that they don't want to be turned into an example. They don't want to be turned into an example that is used against the country itself. So they're somewhat restrained in their criticisms, and most people still carry some semblance of that revolutionary spirit in every facet of their lives. I talk to doctors. I ask them, straight up, I'm going to play the role of a dumb American here. You work for $17 a month, so why do you do it? And the doctor was like, what do you mean? I'm saving my people. This is not for money at all for me. No matter how hard life gets, I'm doing this for all the people that I love. I talked to an academic who's responsible for electrifying the Cuban energy grid with photovoltaics, and she was so thrilled that as an academic she was able to bring life back to the energy grid with her work, to be able to work with all these other organizations within the government and allow Cubans to have a moment of respite in these rolling blackouts. Same with the international medical missions. I talked to the head of the international medical missions who was very sad that Marco Rubio had personally personally pressured all these other very poor Latin American countries into submission, into denying the Cuban doctors from entering their countries, right? And it's unbelievable how cruel we are. It almost sounds comical when I explain it out loud, like the fact that you can't stay at whatever hotel you want to stay at, or the fact that we hate socialized medicine so much that we have literally tried to stop other countries from having socialized medicine or break apart their socialized medicine, and even have now expanded on that and are stopping other countries from receiving Cuban doctors as well. One of the things that he was explaining to me is like they have 100% area coverage in Jamaica. Jamaica is a somewhat poor country. There's a lot of underserved areas in Jamaica. And now those people are not going to have doctors at all. They're not going to have any health care at all, because it was Cuban doctors on their medical missions that were going to these villages, and they were actually offering health care to the Jamaican population. And he told me, look, the politicians that caved to Marco Rubio, they might get platinum health care. They might even be able to fly to the United States of America and get that health care if they chose to do so. But my patients that I treated that live in these faraway villages, in these rural areas, they're never going to be able to see a doctor again. And America has no solution for that. They just did that specifically so that, there was diplomatic pressure on Cuba. And it's such a frivolous goal and so evil in general. But, that's just the way we operate.
It's the way we operate because it reflects the same playbook America's run, and back to our conversation about Iran and all these Middle Eastern countries and South American countries to sow and create dissent, and the human cost goes so far to achieve these American capitalist goals.
So I think we have time for just one more question quickly. Henry, no pressure.
Hi, I'm Henry. Thanks for coming. I had a question about messaging, specifically towards people around 30 and under who felt disillusioned or just apathetic towards politics these days. I feel like I've been personally really frustrated with that group of people that I know who have become like that. I'm just curious how you think collectively we can get those people back involved, especially as things just go more towards the fan.
Yeah, I think about this a lot. It's pretty much all I do, right? But I understand why there's so much disillusionment. This is something that I warned against. This is something that I warned Democrats that would listen to me in 2020 as well, where I was like, look, you taught an entire generation to do all of the right things. They went out, they protested. This is when Black Lives Matter protests were happening all around the world. They did that, right? And then you told them they have to do their civic duty, they have to go out and vote. And they wanted to vote for maybe Bernie Sanders, and that didn't work out because, the forces of the party got together and rat fuck Bernie again. But ultimately, they plugged their nose and they voted for a decrepit old man who clearly was never going to be able to live out both of his terms. And they voted. They voted for the harm reduction candidate, and they got nothing out of that. If you teach an entire generation that no matter what they do, if they go out and protest, they exercise their First Amendment, and they get tear gassed and pepper sprayed in the process, and then they go out, they plug their nose, and they vote for a candidate that they might not be super enthusiastic about to make sure that the Republican menace is no longer in office, and then those changes don't come at all, then you're basically teaching people that you're basically instilling voter apathy in the public. You're telling people that their voices don't matter, right? And maybe that's by design. Maybe the Democratic Party likes it that way, right? Maybe they think they can win elections with harm reduction narratives or eke out marginal victories as long as they can lean into how horrible the Republicans are at the end of their term every 4 years. But the I guess inverse of that, in order to instill confidence in people, is to identify small goals that are somewhat attainable and that correspond to midterm goals, that correspond to long-term goals, and achieve those short-term goals and seize on those marginal victories and instill some sense of confidence in organizing and try to create a positive environment for this sort of advocacy and this sort of work. Just like we were talking about with respect to Palestinian awareness, or even with the Zohar Mamdani election victory, right? Like these are, in the grand scheme of things, maybe this is not really moving the needle, but it is still significant. Even something as small as like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez coming out and saying that she makes no distinction between offensive and defensive weapons, and that she is now in favor of a full embargo of weapons transfers, at least that we're not going to pay for it, right? As long as Israel is violating international human rights and also violating American laws, the Leahy Law, to be exact. That might come across as like a marginal victory that is inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, or too little too late. And I know in many respects, I understand when people say stuff like that, but it is actually quite impactful, because now there's a new bottom. Like now there is, for progressives all around the country, the permission structure has expanded. Now there is a new bare minimum that you can lean into, that you can demand from your politicians. And it's up to us, once again, to make those demands. It's up to us to communicate those desires and to hold politicians to account. And little by little, as long as we seize on those victories and remind ourselves that change is not going to happen overnight, and these seismic shifts that are necessary are not going to come about spontaneously, that we have to make it happen. We have to be the people that force that change to happen, and lean into those small victories. Little by little we can expand on that, and at least that's how I try to maintain revolutionary optimism and not succumb to nihilism.
Well said. Well, on that note, y'all. Okay, so Hasan has somewhere else to be, but he is willing to take a picture with all of us quickly up to the front. Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that he has the time. So after we take this picture, we're going to go down to the green room. We're going to take a picture. Yeah.
Of course. Nice to meet you guys.
Do you like fly mill?
What? Well, yeah, it was great. Very tasty. Okay.
Just go tall people in the back.
Yeah.
Are we allowing kneeling?
Some people got to get down. Some people got to get up.
How are we going to do this?
I think you, us three, Zachy.
Yeah, I'm going in the front. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Of course.
I appreciate it. Did you like those ends? Zachy,
What?
did you get those ends?
Yes, I did.
Take a knee up at the front.
You want us to be up here?
Yeah, in the front.
Okay.
I didn't think you were there.
Zachy, yeah.
Okay.
The tallest guy going.
Oh, hey, shorties. We're going to do a sword.
Yeah, no, okay. Let me get